Welcome back to Exalted 3rd Edition, Dragon Blood's Crimes of Nature. Last time, the crew, after their experiences with Bismuth Maw, decided to take some time to settle down and assist with a lot, honestly, just kind of make sure everything was okay. Just go through some more talking through of the situations that they had gone through and go around the village and see what they could do to help out. Even if it was not something where a dire sword of Damocles is hanging over the fate of the whole village, there's certainly a lot that could be done to support Bismuth, to support the village, to help everybody bring together things. So after the festival wrapped up, they came up with the idea of helping Bismuth sort out his living space, to bring some of his stuff together, and create a dedicated memorial spot for the dead in his life and for the dead of the village as well. And it was a whole team effort to bring the whole thing together, moving the rock, decorating it, coming up with the ideas. Um, and by the end of the ceremony, it had been basically brought everybody together to dedicate the new space of memorial for those who had come before and those who would come in the future. And Yakuman also came up with the idea of divine tax fraud, basically, of channeling errant prayer energy into a way of helping communities empower themselves and have their own guardians, um, via, at least at this prototype stage, a mask that is siphoning some of the devotion and prayer off to the side with some botanical assistance. Beyond that, Hearth has somewhat deemed it mission, missions achieved. You have mostly dealt with the critical short-term issues. Bismuth seems to be in a much better mental state than when you arrived, and in a good position to kind of manage for whatever is being thrown in this, whatever's going to be thrown at him in the near future. He knows that you are going to be his neighbor. He knows that he has a neighbor that he can count on in the form of Steel Tearing Bureaucrat, and also in the form of Koi, if necessary. Um, it all feels like this is pretty well settled and handled and ready to go. Which leaves the ball back in the court of the hearth as to now what.
Well, that was a pretty fucked up story.
So where do we want to go next?
What were we even doing out here in the first place?
Checking on the bear.
So, as a reminder, the two plot points that were on the table before you chose checking on Bismuth were checking on Bismuth and checking on the Gonzota Redoubt.
We should head back to the monastery to check in to see if Stalwart Daughter has returned.
Yeah, you also sent the horse out with the Demon Wasp to do some scouting.
I'm excited to hear that resolve itself.
I think we should also check in. We should check in with the people who are going to go to Gonzota and see if they've already gone, how messed up they got, etc., etc.
Okay. Any other input?
Mostly just sending messages to various people. Oh, we should probably have a talk with.
Actually, I do want to talk to Repose.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't know when that could be. Do you want
I
to
mean, that could be
around the point
cloud.
that Yang maybe just like under his breath seems to express that he should consult Repose about something. Repose is just suddenly there behind him,
just
looming over.
Slides into frame.
Can you read my mind? So yes, that's a yes then. You can read my mind. Anyways, okay, cool. Which of the local gods do you think are trustworthy? Like wouldn't snitch.
Slow inward breath. bit of composing and audible thinking. Now that is a tricky word you've chosen. Trust.
Well,
Too often
the
people
ends-
use that word and expect it to stand alone. Trust.
well, they
Trust
stand to gain
how?
something from it.
Trust
Like,
with what?
I want
around
a
who?
few local gods to hold a small pool of prayer under someone else's name, which they may embezzle, and then when it's needed, it just conveniently goes somewhere. And then sometimes unmarked prayers just fall in their lap, and they get a small stockpile they get to take from it, and then every once in a while it's needed somewhere. And the process begins again. Forever.
Nodding along, allowing Yang to finish. Continuing to nod along at a bit of awkward silence after Yang has finished.
So yeah, like the idea is basically he wants to set up a local network of he wants to launder prayers to be able to reuse them for Yakumen.
Now, the other tricky thing, then, is that I can think of many who could be well-suited to such an arrangement, who would find it palatable, agreeable, mutually beneficial. Tricky thing is, though, people in such position are divinities who have been left currently bereft of name.
Wait a minute. I don't want to say it like this, but you're saying I should basically make people owe me.
I had to step away for a moment. I missed the beginning of the scene.
We're discussing how to launder prayer,
Okay.
and then we're embezzling prayers, but like in a
I'm
constructive way.
saying
Eh.
that you should approach those most in need the way you want. How is it that you phrase it? About something that happens to those backed into corners?
Do gods really need
The
help
skies
too?
have many corners.
Like they're gods, right? What could they possibly need from me? I'm just some fucking dude.
They need prayer.
Yang literally doesn't understand his own benefits or uses here. It's just he's just like,
I'm
do
just-
I punch
I'm
something? I can't punch something. What do I do?
I'm just kind of seeing Rapose's eyes go unfocused for a second here, just like.
Yang? What could a bear need from a bird or a kitten? Leaning terribly close, probably just kind of clonking
Me.
forehead against forehead to Yang. We just did this, brother.
Me?
Why could Big Thing need help from Smaller Thing? I don't understand. We just did this, brother.
No,
But
you
it
see the
doesn't apply to me because of arbitrary reasons.
You see, the problem is that now Yang has to self-actualize in this position and immediately has the brain throw the thought out.
You're a dragon. You're a man. You're a dragon man.
He was just a dragon.
Which is the most just like generically beneficial god to it? Should I just go find a river god and then make that healthy, and then like a, I don't know, sky god or something, and then just fuck it. I'm just gonna go walk in a direction and see what happens. This usually works out.
Yang, but your propose is not going to let Yang slip away from this, because no, this is business, and I must pretend to my brother who requires professional consultation. A river god is preoccupied with doing river things. And we can allow this dialogue to slip off of camera and continue in the background. And go into abstraction of explaining to Yang of like, okay, actually, small gods already have to do a lot with not as much as they prefer to. We're starting to let Yang in behind the first layer of curtains about divinity of the smallest ones who actually have to live down here and get directly associated with things rarely have as much power as people would prefer that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about power structures in the divine world.
They're
What
already
do you mean?
overstressed. The two most common misfires of prayer, aiming too low and expecting local river to be able to manipulate the rain for some reason, or aiming too high and saying directly at Sky King, why is the river so stank?
But yeah, so for the purposes of the scene, I'm setting up Yang as understanding that, like, he's going to be bismuth if he just keeps trying to make problems that solve themselves without him there.
Mhm.
So,
Progress
yeah,
can be made.
that's this arc. Oh no, I have to live with the society I built. Fuck.
And Repose. Yeah, eventually, after Yang is able to express more confusion on the subject, Repose getting across that, okay, so what happens to a god of a thing if thing is destroyed? It persists
blows
as a
up?
god of nothing.
Wait, what do you mean a god of nothing? Because everything's nothing, right? Like, does one nothing fuse with another nothing? It all came from nothing, so it's all nothing technically, right? So is that the most powerful god?
No. Try getting away from this idea. No, you do not start thinking about void state.
Repose just like, no. You need way more fundamentals.
Don't-
Yang, what happens if your house burns down and you don't have the money to build a new one?
Then you die.
What if you can't die?
Then you explode and stop mattering.
You become homeless.
But then you have a home. I'm homeless.
Milan is just going to quietly slink away to consider this. 5 minutes later, Yang, what happens if you lose your job?
Well, was I like a cobbler and my hands fell off or something?
The quarry dried up.
Well, I'd probably have to find either a new quarry or change careers.
Maybe you should find a job that's looking for a changing career.
But I like fighting crime.
No, not you. Go find a job that wants to fight crime. A god that wants to fight crime.
Wait a minute.
Look, the word god and job are very similar.
I should go find a tree and make a mutually beneficial agreement to kick poacher's ass. Or something like that. I'm gonna go figure it out.
This is further from dumb. This is progress. He is learning.
Repose just consoling Milan on the side. This is better than it was this morning.
By the time we get to the giant split, Milan has the idea of, okay, maybe there were gods here. See if you can talk to one of them who got uprooted.
Yeah, this is probably on the Stormcloud, so you're probably like flying towards the hole.
Go park over there. Go park there. Let's go find a god.
Maybe we can go talk to the god of the giant spike.
I don't know if that's a good first god to talk to.
Why not?
Well, it's Spike.
And
It's scary.
so are we.
Firm hand placed on Yang's shoulder. Yang, you were beginning to say things that if I were to substitute people for divinities and repeat the things you are saying back to you, I would begin to sound like one of the people you prefer to see torn from their homes and killed in an obscure corner of a street.
You're right. Damn, that sucks. All right, let's go talk to Spike. I can't believe I had prejudice. I'm gonna go kiss that Spike. Let's go.
Let's go talk to your new friend, Big Spike of Iron. Colossal pillar of rust.
I guess this is happening.
So
It's on the way.
Yeah, it is like directly on the way, like on like straight path as the crow flies. So you go make it over the cliff through the pathway canyon, and land back by the pillar. And the giant piles of rust at the base of it are still there. The inscription that Yang had put on, no, not that Repose had put on there is still there. It is largely untouched. There appear to be a couple of little bits of offerings here and there at the base of the spire, maybe because of Repose wandering around and mentioning it more often as like you should be paying some sort of religious attention to this site. And those with the unseen senses that automatically fires have it go off when you get near the pillar and that has not happened before when you were around.
We are not alone.
Suppose we'll
that's
just
what that
kind
feels
of
like?
immediately
Oh.
scale the side of the pillar and go give the inscription firm dusting off. Apply fresh oil.
How do I talk to? So where do I talk to? Which part of the spike?
Okay, so you know that thing we do with the mirrors?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that?
Does Yang know how to do that?
Do you have the charm, spirit detecting, etc.?
No.
Then no.
Let me read up to see if I can prep a mirror for Yang.
I know that Repose has it.
Ooh,
Feel
I
like
do.
Angler might have. Angler has
Yeah,
it.
I do. That's why I've got
Yeah.
my dumb gauntlets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me borrow the glove.
Don't you dare get near me. They're mine now. You gave them to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Spirit detecting mirror.
All right. So.
Okay, I don't have the rebuy that lets me share it with others.
All right, then just an amount of time will pass before Repose slides back down and prepares an appropriate shiny surface.
The gauntlets were also being prepped, I believe. So, but a larger one
It's like
could work.
we're like the spike is reasonably close to the rocks of the like cliff zone.
Yeah. You would
So
be able
I'm
to
gonna
move
propose
something.
like just find a reasonably flat side of a boulder and polish it up, probably while singing some old war song that he knows.
All right, give me a presence performance roll with 1 dice.
Which is not a great pool, although I did pick up a 1-die specialty in prayer for exactly this purpose of being slightly less bad about observances. There's a 2.
Repose is much more practical with a lot of prayers rather than the big ceremonial stuff. It fits the role that Repose usually has fit, but it gets the message across. And as the mirror is polishing, and there's a just kind of knock on the side of it to start activating the polished surface to reflect the spire, the reflected surface is covered entirely in the spire and the rust pile below. So it is just kind of this big reflected kind of reddish brown pockmarked enormity taking up the entire surface. Aside from what looks like a very spindly, not quite skeletal so much as emaciated humanoid figure, where instead of arms and feet and hands, it has its arms and legs sharpen and terminate into points like the spire it is next to. It is also faceless, and the back of its head kind of tapers backwards in a cone to a spike as well, with a spiked forward chin.
Wow, you're cool looking.
The deity tips its head at that first response of just, thank you? I believe that you are the ones who have been bringing so much recent attention to this. It kind of turns its head to the spire and turns back, seemingly lost for words in reverence of what it is regarding.
What is its name? Has anyone given it a name yet?
Have you asked?
What's your name?
My name is Kara.
Cool. I'm Yang.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Is there anything I can do to assist the princes of the earth?
I'm gonna slide over to repose. I didn't have a plan. What do I do?
Head tilt again.
Like it's a spike, it's just gonna chill, right? I could tell people about the spike, but that's not gonna like what's that? It's chicken shit.
As
What you
Yang
do is be patient and be diligent and be accommodating and various other like filler soothing Yang. Please stop being alarmed by oh no help. How do I cope?
as this discussion is going on, there's just a kind of idle scraping of the forelimbs together, the points against points to just kind of keep refining the front of its arms into sharper points. It seems to just be an idle kind of tick this god has.
Okay, uh Kara, you like justice?
I like vengeance being taken upon those who would violate the order of creation.
Wait, really?
Turns head to look at Pillar. Turns head to look back at Yang.
Okay, I'm doing a I don't want to use the word startup here out of character, but like I really want to use the word startup.
I feel like I can slide a bit of useful context
Yeah.
setting as well
Yeah.
into the conversation here. Just briefly pull Yang a little bit back and go to like stage whisper to ear range. Yang, there was a time when I asked of how you saw yourself, and you described yourself as a knife. Today you were speaking to a bullet. You should find much to talk about.
Hey, has anyone told you about whispers of vengeance and wrongdoing and people who need to be punished?
Not in particular. I have mostly received thanks from our charge's role in fighting back the Balorian Crusade.
The what?
The Yang would know this one in character. That is the time the Fae almost destroyed the world. That is when this thing got launched.
So it's a vengeance god, but like people aren't telling, hey, go fuck up Kevin.
It is not
Do
a
it.
direct vengeance god. It is a god of this thing killed the Fae. This was a retaliatory strike against the invading army from beyond the world.
Yeah.
And it has gotten enough spiritual attention that a god has been tasked to watch over it.
You're talking to the god of a bullet that was fired in the big war.
Yes.
People have thanked it for doing its part.
Enough people have been giving spiritual reverence to this bullet that a god has been tasked to manage the prayers going to the bullet.
I'm trying to think of the specifics of like this is something that Yang could probably suss out, but like ice and emoji do not know.
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
specifics
That's
of,
fine.
Like,
Feel free to take it to dice then.
Yeah.
That's part of what dice are for.
Yeah. If you have a character that can do something and you can't, and then that includes talking, dice is there. Dice are helpful.
I guess I'm trying to convince this thing that like well, this god I hadn't asked their gender.
It's they.
Okay. Like
Kara's gender is bullet. Basically.
yeah, that's basically just like you were literally an object at some sort of foundational level.
Mhm.
But I guess like if there's ever a bunch of like people coming to pray for you, like, hey, please stop the thing from coming to kick our ass again. You know, that'd be nice if I could know, and then we could start. I don't even know what the fuck I could offer in services to a bullet.
Well, out of character, a very common thing that you have seen Repose do, and would probably come naturally, is spread the good word of the bullet. Have you seen this cool bullet? Have you thanked this bullet today for your existence?
I think, okay, yeah. What I'm going to do here then is I'm going to basically just be like, hi, I'm a dragon-blooded. Would you like me to spread the good word? Cool. Let's start being associates. And then, after a certain period of time, I'm probably going to have to like slowly vibe check each of these gods. So I'm not going to be like, hey, you want to do embezzlement right now?
Well, if you can roll me a read intentions to see how receptive this god would be to your ideals.
Okay. That's what's integrity, right?
That's wit socialize.
Okay.
Or perception socialize.
Same roll. That's pretty bad.
3 successes is not terrible. It's hard to get a read on. It's harder to get a read on Kara. They don't really have facial expressions to read. You're going purely off of body language, and it just from the way you're talking, Kara seems open but a little confused. It seems like they are not usually in a position as a god or in their position to like actually socialize all that often. They're here as a bureaucratic functionary more often. They are here to be, if somebody here, vandalizes the gun, they would manifest and stab them. That is about the generally expected interface of people that Kara's job description had. So
Okay.
having a casual conversation is kind of baffling to them.
I think I know exactly what I do with this now.
Mhm.
Is at some point after all the weird, like, I'm just gonna sit down and ask. Okay, look, I'm a disaster. I'm trying to figure out this whole occult thing, and I figured making friends is a good start. Is there anything I can do to help you integrate further into gestures vaguely that large?
Slow head tilt again. Kind of a gesture of the blank face towards repose before looking back towards Yang. Curious offer, but one I suppose I appreciate, considering the nature of your heart's assistance in maintaining.
Well, like you're a cultural landmark now, and I think that's kind of cool. So I don't know.
I suppose more awareness of the history of the Sword of Creation, perhaps more awareness of there's kind of a pause in a set of thoughts, as this is a train of thought that Kara may literally have never had. This may be the first time Kara has ever thought about this.
Oh, actually, I know. Let's make you a poem that can go around singing in taverns and shit, and then we'll talk about where you are. And I'm going to start asking Kara specific questions about the sword creation and how they feel about it.
Okay, give me a, let's see, for composing a poem, I suppose that would be wits linguistics with a 2 dice die.
Oh, damn, this is a 10. Okay, well, that's so. What if Yang just turns into Shakespeare of the 100 Kingdoms, basically, and goes around making literature and just accidentally?
Like, as you are talking to Kara, the verses start coming to mind as you are describing. Basically, it is a victorious war poem about how it was the darkest hour of creation, and then the sword of creation lanced through the invading Fey army and utterly unmade them. Just like really lingering on how this entire Fey army just got blown to shit, and it was the coolest thing you would have ever seen if you didn't also get obliterated by being nearby. But man, if you were there, you would have seen it. It would have been cool as hell. And like, as you are just composing this on the fly, the rest of the hearth, like, again, I can't compose a poem on the fly, but the rest of the hearth is just immediately like hearing the rhythm and hearing the word choice and just going, this is gonna stick. This is going to stick. If people hear this, they're going to repeat this. This is catchy. This could be put to music. And have it like the end of the poem basically ends with just a quick little ode and aside of like, you may not believe me because these events are so fantastical, but if you want to see the truth with your own eyes, go to the rift and speak with Kara. So
I'm making an advertisement for a cultural landmark of the 100 Kingdoms.
Yes.
pretty much, yes, that's how a lot of ancient
It's important
poetry and a
work.
lot of odes work.
Actually,
It
it would
was
make a
ads.
lot of sense as a civil servant of just being like, yes, hello, I am the super bard. Would you like to know about our things and our tourist spots? Go pray at them. Don't ask questions.
Most of a year into the adventure, Yang dramatically discovers core functions of being a wood aspect.
This hasn't stopped happening for most of the group, and it fucking kills me. I love it. It's just group slowly understands. Wait, this is the job I was supposed to do. Okay, I
Like,
get
out
it.
of character, I really like this arc because it's basically accidentally me role playing like a very traumatized dragon blooded, slowly healing, and go, wait, right, I'm a wildflower.
Yeah, no,
It's a fun arc.
like sass aside, I fucking love Yang's art for that. It's amazing.
So
But-
meanwhile, Repose has been quietly sketching something on a slate while Yang does his best, and probably somewhere in the poem, he probably hooks onto a lyric as being just like exactly the right turn of phrase to complete what he's working on here, and he has presented an initial sketch of a slightly more, like a reasonably small but more substantial actual shrine building that could be placed in the vicinity of the pillar. Now, with due understanding that at the present time I am engaged in the hunt, I cannot in good conscience spare too much of my attention towards such affairs until perhaps the end of the present year, but in
There's
years to
actually-
come,
When Repose mentions the hunt, there is actually just kind of a rising of the shoulders and a leaning forward in, and the head jutting out at a very kind of uncomfortable angle of just, oh, hunting for enemies of creation, you say? Do tell me more.
I like that.
Sports?
sports. Suppose we'll take this slab and bury it somewhere in the rust pool for Kara to review at their leisure. And he can retrieve it later.
Okay. But yeah, you very much have Kara's backing as just general. The Hearth is good people. Like, you have definitely put at least a minor, if maybe not a straight to major intimacy because of all the prior work with the Spire. Like, you're the reason I am sapient now. You have gone. I have gone from like a least or a small god inside this pillar to a god that has a job because of you. I owe you a lot. And then, yeah, no, the poem you have made, like, if you spread that during town time, it is going to start making.
Like, whatever plan Yang had coming into this, it basically at some point he just forgot about it and went like, wait, I could just make this a fucking monument. That'd be cool. Let's do that instead.
Just completely
Those will-
forgets ulterior motives and just goes around doing public health.
They don't have to be
Ah.
ulterior. Those are your regular motives.
Yes.
I can be a
We're
civil servant,
criminals.
but evil.
Can
It's
you
a
bring
man.
me a fatal punch? I would like to participate in the footed ball.
Those will take up a handful of local sand, start heating it up, using it, shaping it. It's good land.
You actually have noticed that in the past 9 months alone, just from the first time you really saw this chunk, it feels like with all the increased foot traffic beyond the Spire, inspired by the religious pilgrimages from the Fallen River Valley and the Jade Orchid Prefecture, as well as just kind of increasing movement and trade because of the recent events causing more cause for messengers and trade and things like that, it feels like the land is accelerating like a tiny bit. Like, you wouldn't expect some of the reconstitution of the soil to go quite this fast as an earth aspect. You have a sense for how fast this should go, and it feels like it is kind of noticed, like, oh, things is nicer around here. But other than that,
Deep breath,
There's your
relaxed
stop
sigh, pleasant nodding. Continue work on small glass sculpture for the day.
and would you want to swing to Grey Falls first to check on that, or would you want to go to the monastery first? Because I know those were two ideas to go check out.
I would call this a time for a team split, but we're running out of subdivisions of the team that are still welcome in the Satrap's house.
I mean, I'm welcome. Do you want me to go?
You could also go and not talk to the satrap. You could always
Yes,
Yeah,
you
we
can
could
also
just
just
not
go to town
pass her.
and get news.
Yeah.
Angler did leave a lot of his people behind in Greyfall, so you could get quite a bit of
Yeah, you have an
from that.
information network there.
The thing is, he wants to be sure. Well, if he's going there and he finds out enough information that they've gone and bad things have happened, he's probably going to have to talk to the satrap. And he did promise that the next time he'd go, he would go with Vanif, but Vanif has to go get, or Milan. Milan has to go get the horse. So it might be a horse then Grey Falls or Grey Falls then horse thing. Or Angler just gets dropped off and you all go pick up the horse and then you come back after he's had several hours of gathering information.
I can tell you that the Grey Falls visit will be quick, unless you have additional.
I legitimately forgot that we sent the horse off on a sneaking mission.
That's just how stealthy the horse is.
That was like
She's a very good
2
horse.
or 3 sessions ago, right?
Yes, that was
Okay.
pre-Bear. Bear
Okay.
Yeah.
was an event.
Several very large and emotionally charged events happened in between horse sneaking mission and deploying the satrapy army in Parsh, and then now.
And all that time,
Horse and-
a horse
horse and-
riding an invisible giant wasp has been out
Or
on an
being-
adventure.
It's still going out there.
Or being carried, either or.
It's a very good wasp.
There's gonna be a spin-off manga of Horse and Bee Adventure. It's gonna be fucking weird.
Sequel to The Untamed is strange, but I'm okay with it. Anyway, so I'm just gonna skim over the Grey Falls visit, because honestly it doesn't need too much time.
Yeah, we're not under
narratively-
time pressure. We can just kind of zoop around.
The Grey Falls bit of information you would get from your narrative, from your not narrative, from your information network, let's say, is that they have deployed a small contingent. They would probably guess about 100 men, down to Kinzoda. They do not have intentions of doing any sort of military action if they feel anything is fucky or weird or anything up like that. It is mostly we are sending a scouting and force mission to check out the spooky zone, and if anything so much as gives us a chill down the spine, we are turning the fuck back and we are getting more people.
I mean, are y'all sure we don't want to do a scene of Milan spilling the whole plot we learned to the satrap?
Angler has things to talk about the satrap with, but he will happily wait for Milan to be ready to talk to the satrap after the last 3 times? How many times has it been now, Milan?
A few times. 3 or 4 times.
The incident.
No, incidents. Plural.
No, it's the incident because it has not stopped happening yet.
Oh, fair.
Okay,
The incident is
miscellaneous
ongoing.
on that front, I think, between... So everyone who has war dice, a thought that I've had that it hasn't... Since we haven't, like, had a conversation be about the subject of the results of Gunzoda. So, like, the bad side of this is, okay, our opponent probably just got a bunch of big, fancy, ancient heavy weapons. The good side is moving around a big pile of ancient heavy weapons is a very difficult, expensive, and strenuous task.
Yep.
Especially when those ancient weapons are very fussy and meticulous and expect to have a world-spanning empire resources backing their operations.
Yep.
Oh,
So-
these are like World War I tanks?
They're giant robots in a Bronze Age setting
Oh.
with all of their original material either not
They are
being
fancy
produced.
engines of war, which require, big city amounts of expertise
Wait, what-
and stuff.
Wait, what am I saying? They're lost tech. There we go.
Yeah, they're lost tech.
Fuck.
So I want to see if we can work together to throw some more dice at getting a sense of how far could he even be
All right, so
Give me a hot second.
Yeah, let's get a sense of like, because like, if he's going to be left in a situation of all right, move quickly, or move quietly, or leave stuff behind. You cannot choose all of these things at once.
yes, exactly.
It's time for me to show up.
Actually,
He's powered
yeah, we
up
should
the
do
big stompy robot. Everyone is going to know that the big stompy robot is stomping around, and he should become easier to follow.
So I would
Break out
say,
the map of
Since-
roads.
Would this be Wits War?
yeah, this would be Wit's War, and I would say Repose can roll to assist Obsidian because Obsidian is going to be the primary actor.
Can I roll to assist Obsidian on terrain and survival things for?
Yes, you can. If you are rolling survival, you can give additional information based on what you would know of the local environment.
I
Alright.
would like to roll with bureaucracy for my knowledge of the road networks, because very obviously he's not going to be taking the road networks.
I may have a mirror 5 in survival.
Actually,
so
if we're opening up things up to the idea of having many different skills converge to make
There'll
this a
be
big event,
different roles, I think.
I will contribute craft instead on the grounds of talking about what the technological capabilities of these machines
Ooh, okay, yes,
should
then
be.
yes. Okay, so we got 4 from Sona.
Discuss gears.
Okay, if we're all chipping in on this, can I do an investigation roll since I am already talking with a large network of obvious places that they would be able to either avoid or go through that people just either go through themselves and
Yeah,
so
like
they
just
would have to go
general
there themselves?
general rattling down the information network of, so if you were transporting something really stupidly big and obvious, where would and wouldn't you get?
So if we had a black market, and I'm not saying we have a black market, but if there's a black market somewhere, where wouldn't we go?
Yeah, exactly.
Would,
Okay, so that's
investigation with
Uh,
intelligence? I don't know.
I'd say intelligence on this
Manipulation?
one, actually. Well, actually, manipulation, yeah, because you're getting it out of other people.
Yeah, I'd love to say that I could talk to people, but eh. Eight.
Good lord. All right, so we've got 8 from the craft perspective, 7 from the bureaucratic perspective, 8 from the. I'm not doing this as an assist roll because y'all have been rolling fire hot and rolling your own high pools, but Obsidian can roll to blow out with war. And that's going to be the primary military angle of it.
Just while we were starting
Oh,
to
I
fly
should
back
add-
toward the city of Grey Falls, just suddenly Repose releases a bit of a sharp click, and then War Council. We did not have a war. Let's discuss
right,
war.
right. The problem. We need to solve that.
Hey, so here's the fun thing of Obsidian has not made a war roll since he's gotten a 5 in war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that the war excellency is really good for how obscure war is? Anyway,
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, God!
Yeah.
And I remember what else it does.
yeah, reroll 6s, so give me a hot second here. Dang.
10!
10.
All right, let me give me a couple of moments to synthesize all the information you're about to get.
The dragon bloods wake up and remember they have a thing to go fight.
Right. We should use our brains.
Right.
Listen, our brains were kind of shut off for a little bit. We were talking with Bear.
While talking to the nail god, I'm sorry, but I am on the hunt. An hour later, on the plane, we're on the hunt.
Wait a minute.
Right, we're on the hunt. Fuck, we've been doing side quests for so long. This has big fucking Pillars of Eternity 2 energy of just like, Aethys is about to destroy the world. When you can do all these fun side quests for a couple of hours.
Milan turns on a section of cloud like it's a desk chair. Let's talk about supply trains.
God's like, woo, yeah, man, that was some really intense catharsis with the bear. What were we doing? Oh, right, the robots! So, first of all, Yang doesn't know jack or shit about a War Strider. Like, most of the group hasn't really... Okay, I would say Obsidian has seen one in military parades. Milan might have seen one in, like, a military parade. Angler might have, like, seen the logistical papers for one. Repose and Yang have never seen one. This is
There's no way.
Obsidian
There's no
has
way.
probably read war reports about that one time that somebody
The
deployed a war strider.
I think I have
somebody
probably
fucked up
like
bad enough that it was
seen the
worthy of
blueprints.
deploying a war. Yeah.
Like I've probably seen blueprints to a war strider and like here's how you disable these things, otherwise just fucking leave.
No, like even for a Celsi training, they wouldn't have one of that.
Okay,
That's
so
like-
they would
that is
have
like,
like basically
if you're
just
in a situation where you need to kill a war strider as an Celsi, you've already fucked up.
Milan
Proposes
knows many
extensively
laws about war
read-
striders, but has never seen one.
Proposes
Yeah.
extensively read the list of wonders of the old age that we fucking wish we had to throw at the great enemy.
Man, it would be nice if we had the giant robots that shot sunfire.
You know
Would
what help
anybody
right
like
now?
Malone as one of-
Beams.
like there's probably a bestiary in an SLC training grounds that just like has war striders there because they're out there technically, and the entry is just don't bother, you're dead.
The war strider is look for the weak points and kill the pilot. If you can't do it, good job. Good
All
try.
right, well you tried.
Sneak up behind it and chuck a grenade in its open hatch.
Did you
And
stealth
just
kill
repeat
it?
that 5 more times.
No? All right, you fucked.
Yeah, just do the Titanfall, pop the hatch, and chuck a grenade in thing.
I was about to
Anyway.
say, Brad, wait. Damn it. Just damn it.
Wait for the rider to need to sleep, and then
Yeah, that would actually probably be the legit advice. Is they can't be in it all day. They could be probably in it for a couple of days, but they got to get out sometime.
They're
Anyway.
controlled by humans, poison them. But yeah.
From the survival aspect of what you know around the Gonzoda Redoubt is that landscape-wise, there are 3 primary ways they really could have gone. And I'm actually just going to switch this perspective over to the map so I can illustrate, because this is grand scale talking. It is back up in the Gonzoda Redoubt triangle. So let me get my gesturing tool. So, you're around here right now. So, giant robots is right here. You will notice there are mountains to the southwest and to the southeast. To the north is a giant set of forest. To the northeast is directly past the monastery by river or by land. If they went that way, basically the only reason they would ever go that way is to directly go over and kick over the giant hornet's nest, because
yeah,
otherwise...
if they decided their new objective is to try and take out the vigil, and we'll see how many of them are left intact to try and do anything else after that.
Yes. And that would be something that you feel like you would have heard by now. It has been like 2.5, 3 weeks. If their plan with the War Striders was to kick over the Vigil and that was like step 1 rather than step 7, you would have gotten an emergency broadcast by now. There would be very loud noises from the ancestral area of, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. So it is
War
almost
Striders
certain
here
that
to
they
deploy
did
Zard.
not. There is almost certain that they did not go up the river or past the land. And probably not even through the forest, because that would be really dense landscape to go through with the War Striders. That's possible.
This
It
is
would
basically
represent
like
help.
Peace Walker for like, yeah, you can't really, go in a swamp. That's gonna just be a bad idea.
You can, but it would be complicated. Now, going upriver this way, possible, but then you would be passing directly by the largest citadel in the area, like all of it. This is where the Warmance is, that could have a laser beam that could probably take out War Striders, and probably has War Striders of their own that they just don't talk about too loud. So, going this way, probably suicide. Going this way, may or not be suicide, going to be very loud and messy. Going through the mountains on either direction, not happening. Going south down the river and then either up to the lake or downriver, possible? Might. But also, this is one of the most heavily traveled rivers in creation for trade, even this far upriver. You may not have heard about it, but if they did that, and you went asking around the river, there almost certainly would be people going, oh yeah, the giant robot on the boat. I thought that was just
Yeah,
part of the realm.
If they were going that way, that would increase the odds that we would have run into them on our own way in.
Yeah, because remember, they kicked the place over before you arrived and evacuated before you arrived. You probably would have even seen them. So, from Yang's perspective, it just doesn't really make much sense. The only real path they would have had to go anywhere sneaky is directly through forest and swampland. And that's a hell of an ask. Now, from Repose's viewpoint, a lot of that is also self-evident in terms of the craft angle of like, okay, so how do you maintain these things? Number one is you either move them on something else's power, which means that you would need very heavy, very large, and very well-prepared boats or carts, and ideally, possibly even disassembling them across multiple different carts and boats to distribute the weight load and distribute the odds of it being sunk on a single boat, and then, well, there goes your robot. So, the logistics, if you are moving it over land in a long-term fashion, would be... You would need a lot of pre-planning ahead of time to set up a heist of one or more Force Riders if they were not moving under their own power. If they were moving under their own power, that simplifies things a lot. All you need is the pilot. The pilot generally needs to be an Exalt, though, so that accounts for one person, not the rest. And if the War Strider breaks down, you need someone qualified to fix the damn thing, and you're not very aware. Yeah, he might have access to Craft Ghost, but that's not something very high on your list of known enemies is qualified to repair robots. That's... you're
And even
not familiar.
having qualified people, that's still a job that takes a while to do.
They would be like, okay, so in Repose's mindset, it's like, okay, so you go through the forest on your own power. One of the servos in the legs breaks. You're stuck there for 3 weeks because you need to fix the goddamn thing and you need the parts, and you need to get the parts from somewhere, and you may or not have brought them in the first place. Now, from Milan's perspective, bureaucratically, moving these things anywhere past civilization is going to be a fucking nightmare. Milan can almost categorically rule out the possibility of moving these things past any sort of civilized settlement, or any settlement, really, with, like, any sort of stealth or any sort of anything. You would need an incredibly good cover story to get giant robots past customs, and while Tyrant seems to be very good at social and possibly has the direct assistance of the Sidereal Executor, with that, that's taking an extremely large risk, because even if you are going in on forged papers that say, no, it's totally fine, I can get these past customs, that's a paper trail. That's something that people can follow.
Word will get out.
Word will get out, and people will talk about, hey, why are people moving War Striders around? What's going on? Angler, meanwhile, would say that if somebody had something super hot that you wouldn't want to move, in a normal, very loud fashion, the general advice would be to go flee into the mountains until the heat is off, or to sail upriver into the lake and then just kind of go up into the forest that doesn't stop, and then just hide out here for a while. That is just kind of like the general gist is, okay, so if you've got nuclear material, then you need to get the hell out of this entire area, because there is nowhere that you're going to hide that is going to be unseen. Nowhere that is not accounted for by you guys, as far as you know. Which brings me to Obsidian. Obsidian would think about this and pretty much get all of the information everybody else is thinking of because of, one, getting a 10, and number two, war would account for a lot of this. The logistics of moving the product, the logistics of getting past places, of having your enemy not guess the surprises that you have, having your routes opened, and which ones are risky and which ones are irrelevant. And you sit there, and you think, and you really puzzle it, and you come to the conclusion that they could not have possibly gotten the War Striders out over land without somebody noticing. You can't. There would not be a way to go anywhere from the Redoubt to anywhere else without being seen, unless you went somewhere else. It is almost certain that Tyrant would never have taken a risk this big unless there was a Shadowland that he already had prepared to dive the robots into. At which point, the logistics of moving around the underworld are a lot different. I don't care who sees. I'm fucking Abyssal. Who's gonna stop me? And that would be just outside of the operational range of the Vigil Town. They might have heard about it at some point. They might be hearing rumors about it, but you already told them. So it is a matter of they probably just were like, okay, rather than engage with moving this on normal logistics, I just dunk it into the underworld and then we'll handle it with the underworld. Yeah, and
pretty much what would have happened, though, in actuality of like the current conversation is happening, is everybody's listening each and every option, and Obsidian is just going, no, nope, that's dumb. Just like no, people would know, people would know, impossible. You wouldn't be able to move it there, and then eventually would just say, looking at the map here, there is actually no way to get it out of there. You would have to spirit it away one way or another, and I don't know how he would do that. Because again, Obsidian knows nothing about the spiritual aspect of stuff.
Again, probably like Angler, Milan, and Repose all just kind of feel like a smack in the face moment. It's like, you have to spirit it away, and all three of them just go, oh, fuck.
At that, Milan asks, Repose, do you know of any Shadowlands down there?
So I'm not even going to make a roll. There are some Shadowlands pocketed around in the Triangle area. There are like enough to account for maybe the ability to go out there. You also know that he has probably void necromancy.
As a powerful Dracula, he would have the means to create.
He could just make one.
Which would leave evidence of where he chose to open a breach and when he was able to do so.
And where he went.
I have a charm for that. If we can get roughly close to Gonzoda, I can track it.
Yep.
Yep, this still lets us create a schedule of where he's probably trying to go.
Now the third option, it's still in Gonzoda Redoubt. He never moved it.
I mean, yes.
I want to go to Gonzoda Redoubt just to see what was left behind, because that can paint a picture of what was taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Also, we could take what was left behind.
That also came to mind, but I wanted to go for the slightly more honorable option first.
And sheath your blade, coward.
Look, we do our civic duty and we make sure that the Dracula didn't take everything that was nailed down, and then we appropriate everything that was left behind for the duty of fighting the Dracula.
I see no problem with this.
Okay, so from there, would we be going straight to Gonzoda? Oh wait, yeah, no, you want to go to the monastery first for horse.
Yeah, Vigil is on the way.
We need to get our forward intel from horse.
Yeah, we can make that pretty quick. Flyby contact.
Yeah, it is a kind of a jag to the right, but is not that far out of your way.
Like Propose would have written statement prepared and appropriately processed to least agitate Azar. About, okay, yes, Bear seen. We have confirmed from Bear attempts from our persons of interest to contact Bear and persuade Bear. We have obstructed attempts to do so, and our newly acquired insights from Bear into everyone who is involved and what they are up to.
Okay, so
our confirmation of Purple, our accusation of treason on the part of Purple.
Mm-hmm.
That Green remains a largely unaccounted for third party. There's further confirmation if he is something, Green is something Exalt-like and aligned with Hell. Further details remain unknown.
Executor exists.
And then, everything we have to update about a profile of Tyrant and his deal.
Mm-hmm.
His plan, his timetable.
Okay, so switching over to the map of the monastery. After
Real quick,
about a
one thing though, while we were still in Grey Falls, Angler would compose a message to meet with the what's her name? Her actual name.
Sinus, and I would have to look her first name.
Sinus, what? Yeah, the representative Sinus. That when we return from Gunzoda, we should have a conversation, because at this point it's all right. We are tiptoeing around each other enough. Let's just sit down and talk.
Okay. So, upon arrival at the monastery, you find stalwart daughter kind of just milling around inside the walls of the monastery, chewing on some of the grass that has come up from the ground that had not been mowed or trimmed yet. And
Tell me a story. Tell me a story.
Milan specifically give me a wit survival read intentions roll.
Woohoo!
And
All right.
Yang can roll one as well because of speaking with animals. Otherwise, this is a familiar bond kind of thing.
You said wit survival?
Yes.
Give you willpower for 4 successes?
I feel like Milan should just get more because
Yeah, get 2 more dice because it
Okay,
three.
yeah, I
Three
have
because
no
it's your
survival.
3 dice because this is yours.
we tried.
4
Whatever.
successes.
Stalwart daughter seems a little spooked and happy to see you, but not like 1,000-yard stare. You also notice that the wasp is not present, and you briefly remember, right, that's because I said once you were done with your task, you'd go back. Like, wasp has...
You abandoned your horse.
I abandoned. Wait.
No.
The wasp abandoned the horse because he caught the horse there and went, all right, cool, job
No,
done.
The horse brought it there and then back and then
Yeah.
And
then
Okay.
completed the
And then
task it
Wasp
was
was like,
assigned
"Job's
to.
done."
Poof.
Yeah, Wasp fulfilled its task and disappeared.
Yeah, and then the monastery has been taking care of horse in your absence.
I thought that's
But
why
very
the horse was shell shock.
No. And it's with the successes you rolled, you can tell that Wasp got horse back. Horse is not in the state of exertion or mental state that showed that horse had to make it all the way back here. And honestly, if that was the case, then probably would be actively like got here a few days ago and looks half dead, but is very clearly not the case. So Wasp definitely made the exit mission back. So Stalwart Daughter is very much just kind of like, oh, just very, very glad to see you. Just bumps head against Milan. Just like, oh man. Just, even without talking, just like, oh. Finally.
Hug horse.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace horse.
Yeah, does the speak with animals charm passively let you hear them, or do you have to actively engage in conversation? I don't know.
I think remembering, because I looked at it, it was like you can read their body language as it were a language.
Okay, so would Yang have activated that yet, or not?
Sana is
His
muted.
son are here.
Might have stepped away. So I'll pause on that question, and I have noted that Repose has moved over.
Propose would have immediately, swiftly and urgently zooped over to the abbess's residence, rang the bell.
Door opens. What?
News.
Yeah,
Place
holds out for-
report.
I stepped away for a bit, actually. What did they find? The horse?
I was asking you if you had turned on horse language gnosis to understand horse language.
Yeah, of course.
Was there anything more in that exchange? Because Azar seems kind of just terse and short. Like, even for Azar, just seems short-tempered today.
So dropping off of the news and to avoid prolonging interruption, but to still get the point across, Repose is just going to kind of, while standing here, knowing that the only people watching him are Azar and the cats, just allow full, terrible, deep, earthy anger to come up onto his face. Just become completely Get that predatory visage out. He has been on the verge of reactivating the deep anger as he's closing in on the target. And just let that speak for itself of just like, oh, we're gonna get him. We got him.
Don't disappoint me. Closes the door and goes back.
And allow a moment for that to dissipate. Turn, pet mode, help mode, and walk back over to
Slightly
the rest of the
concerned
team.
and reassuring head noof on the side of face. It's just like, I understand the anger, but also, man, take care of yourself.
Rip and tear.
Anyway, Yang, upon activating understanding of horses, just kind of gets the. Again, this is translation of body language and such into rough, translation of human speech of just. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. That wasp wouldn't shut up.
Oh, what did it say?
Everything.
Well, is anything particularly interesting?
I don't know.
You-
Just seemed like the memory alone has an experience of like overstimulation come across Stalwart Daughter's body.
It seems like it wasn't. We don't have to talk about it. Anyways, did you get there?
Another kind of wave of just yeah.
Bro, the shutters? Really? That's what you got? The shutters? Huh. Like what flavor?
There is a visible like hard wall between what Stalwart Daughter saw and what is a horse's brain capable of synthesizing and describing and containing.
So the analogy I'm going to use here is we went to Chernobyl and we had Russian Geiger counters that only went up to a certain threshold, and it was actually much higher, but it's 3.2 Ronkin.
That is the vibe you are getting, is whatever Stalwart Daughter saw, it is beyond the ability of a horse to properly convey what she saw. It was just, man, it sucked. It sucked. I don't like it. I don't like it. People shouldn't look like that.
No, sir, I didn't like it at all.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to give Stalwart Daughter a quill, some ink, and a parchment.
Stalwart Daughter just looks down at the parchment and then looks up at Yang. And even Milan can tell the look is like, you have very high expectations that I'm not going to.
I have a charm for this. Hold on. Beast taming aspect. I want to use beast taming aspect to become a tool that is also using a tool for Stalwart Daughter. We're going to make some calligraphy through 2 different degrees of separation here.
You are teaching my horse how to draw?
Yep.
I approve of this.
Well, I'm teaching your horse how to convey memory into marks.
I need to look. I'm not saying no, but I need to look up this charm to see exactly what it does.
It's the closest I'm going to ever possibly get to this. I want to
I
see if I can
know,
real
I know,
smart lawyer my way into this one.
Double
No,
lines on an animal
I-
training roll or an influence roll on a beast.
I can influence the animal to draw.
This would be an animal training role, I suppose.
What the fuck is an animal training rule?
Something you usually do over a much longer period of time, but Stalwart Daughter is a very good horse.
I just want this visual so bad.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I'm letting this work. You're not going to get much out of it, but I'm letting it work if you get the successes you need. Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Roll me a manipulation survival check with double nines.
Why do I roll double nines?
Just keep that in mind.
That's what the
You
charm
don't change the
does.
roll.
And also, it's just count them manually.
Yeah. Jesus Christ!
Oh! No, we can't do this. I can't keep doing this to Darren.
Yes, you can.
So you're going to coach the horse through letting you compose a police sketch.
So, Yang strikes an inspirational pose beyond Stalwart Daughter, who is looking in deep confusion before Yang starts doing the moves alongside Stalwart Daughter, mimicking the pinching lips of a horse with the gripping hand, and just kind of doing arcs across the paper, just doing what could charitably described as maybe a picture of Milan. It's hard to tell aside from that's probably the mustache. And Stalwart Daughter just kind of looks back and then looks down and looks back and very delicately attempts to take the quill in the mouth and pokes at the ground a couple of times, missing, and at the quill, just kind of stabbing the earth a little bit, getting dirt on it before finally getting it into the inkwell and very broadly just sort of dragging the quill down and across, and that's a circle on top, and it's unclear at first whether or not this is a bad drawing or what's going on, but compared to the drawing that Yang made, it seems like Stalwart Daughter is doing her best to draw a hollow space where a person should be.
Oh. Huh. That's an incredibly abstract concept. What a good horse.
That is why I said you're probably not getting this, and she was having difficulty processing it, but then Yakuman happened!
Just kind of cradling my head in my hands like a fucking Psyduck.
So yeah, there you go. An extremely rough abstract drawing of maybe a person-shaped hole? Maybe a person with stuff around him? It's hard to tell.
I don't even know what to do
Sure
with it.
sounds like it's time to make some sort of identify phantom beasts.
Go ahead.
Cult undead. Full juice behind the dice.
See, I knew you could do it, girl.
I can't believe we are getting this from a horse.
He's a very good horse.
Sure, thinking about how we still have air and fire left to account for out of a quartet of fiends.
I want you to know that was not my cat for once. That was me throwing my glasses down in indignation onto the table.
Oh, and 10s reroll, non-1 failure. So let me just. Oh, by the way,
One more thing. Just one more thing.
so Repose just happens to be like casually strolling over after delivering report and sees the aftermath of horse report. Just very quickly looks at the sketch and just right away, oh, I know what that is.
Yang's gonna look at him like, "What you do?"
Yeah, that makes
Our
sense.
daughter looks over like, you do?
Kind of proceed to like vaguely emote at the horse to do a bunch of like filling in of the it was like quiet, right? Vacant.
Nod. Like, actually, horse nodding. Kind of
Nod?
disconcerting.
Void.
That one just kind of gets a blank look in response. But
Accurate. But yes, with that overwhelming amount of overkill here, just give me a short list of things it sounds like this horse would have bumped into.
Air
The-
Fiend, representation of arcane fate, Void Ghost.
Any of which would be a hit on our persons of interest to try and get a drop
Sure would
on
be.
and kick over. So yes, good relevant info. Good horse.
Dude, I'm sorry. You have such a well written story, and I'm just like,
No, I'm loving this. This is ironically like, I was gonna get you to this information somehow. I just really did not expect this to be the
just
route.
the horse though, like that.
The horse, though. I was expecting you to follow the horse and find this on your own in about a half hour to an hour, but I guess we're here early.
Look, she's a very good horse.
She's a very good horse that found the wind aspect thing, and she has a relationship with the air person in the party. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Provide apple to horse.
Yeah, you
She's
get
getting so many apples.
you get horse treats. What a good horse.
Happily and confusedly munches on apple, trying to process the huge brain things that just happened.
Oh, she's not gonna like this idea I'm gonna present to her later.
How long are we going to be
Through
here?
the empathic familiar bond, Stalwart Daughter just kind of gives a side eye over to Milan of now what?
You
Not yet. Not yet. It's not in the right time in the story.
Okay.
So
do you go get him?
anglers
Like
doing a
now?
thing.
Oh, Angler, what are you up to?
A while, I just realized that Angler, when he got here, would have realized, I got a lot of extra paint. To go do something. To go do some hooliganism, as it were. I'm gonna go paint on
Insight
a
of
wall.
Repose. Okay. Repose does absolutely see you move off if you don't do a stealth roll.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. I mean, he pulls out his like paint and brushes and is just going over. He goes, "That looks like a good spot that gets a lot of sun. I'm gonna go over here for a little bit." And he climbs up to a spot on the wall and he's just gonna start drawing, sketching something, and then just start painting.
Okay. And what would
And
that be?
it's gonna be a picture of Repose the very first time we got to the nail, going up to the top of the nail and praying, and just that scene.
All right, roll me dex.
Because we did make a roll, we did make or at least Yang made a thing that we were going to talk about the nail. This seemed like a good way to do it.
All right. Make me a dexcraft roll with the 2 dice on.
Okay, I'm gonna pump some extra stuff into this because I just remembered that I have charms for that. Charm is the charm excellency. Is it just +1 or is it for the people
It
who use
is
it often?
dice.
Okay, extra dice. So +2, +3, and then is it reroll something or no?
No, it generates additional craft modes, which, as the person who's been doing the most crafting, I've in
Don't
fact
bother.
been ignoring the creativity economy. Don't worry about it.
I will power that up to 6.
All right, you are able to sit down and get it sketched out and then begin to paint it out, and it is a pretty quickly, immediately recognizable figure of Repose by the dressing, like just the stance, the build, the dress, moat on the side of the pillar next to him, and it will be a little difficult to notice what it is without familiarity with the region, but it is clearly a spar of iron, because you are taking rust pigments to paint with.
And then if I have a moment, I would make like a ghostly visage of the god that was there just kind of watching off to the side, because I'm going to be adding on to this later, but I don't have the time to make the whole fresco as you would.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you had planned for this right now, or?
Nope, because we're probably only here for like a couple hours, so this is just like something he's going to just add on to every single time he gets. I see the cat moving.
Yeah. By the end of the time you had spending the mural, you notice Chief just kind of appearing in the alleyway behind the residential complexes and just kind of looking down the way at your way, just kind of like, hey.
And that's how Angler died.
No, and then Angler just reaches into a pouch and pulls out a large strip of jerky and just hucks it towards Chief and just keeps right on painting.
Roll me manipulation survival. So hello, Obsidian.
Oh no! That thing I'm real bad at.
Chief detected.
Oh no!
Chief looks at the bribe and slowly extends a paw and smacks it out to the side one way. Exactly as you see Obsidian Shield come around the corner behind the Chief, who does not notice.
I'm starting to see this like aura build up around Chief, and then around the corner comes a
Like,
9-foot
like
tall
a menacing,
And then, like, yeah,
starting to
the
happen around Chief, and then
appears.
like a tiny set of menacing is around Chief, and then Obsidian steps around the corner and just menacing.
Hey, buddy.
Slow turn of the head.
Extends hand to pet cat. Do I require a roll to pet Chief?
Yeah, because Angler botched, you're gonna need to actually roll to make this not escalate. So, give me,
I think that's my first botch. I love it.
yeah, give me a deck survival roll. Or actually, you're doing this to intimidate Chief, aren't you?
A little column A, a little column B.
Dex presence.
Like, legitimately, like, wants to actually just pet cat, but also feels like
Anti-bully ranger activated.
feels like Chief maybe goes a bit too far. But anyway. How deep am I going on this bit? Am I using an excellency?
Do it.
You do have plenty of travel downtime later. You'll catch up.
Okay, yeah. Let's do this with 2 auto successes. A 5 to pet.
As the band descends firmly and solidly and irrevocably onto Chief's head with a single long pull back of the ears down the body, pulling the skin along the back where it's loose, of just a very strong, firm pet that doubles as I could pick you up by the scruff and throw you so far they wouldn't even see where you land.
Good cat.
Just snarling noises as just looking down towards Angler, then just pulling head back towards Obsidian and just kind of making a non-audible baring of the teeth with the second pet, but not biting. And then by the third one, just bolts. Just fuck it. I'm done.
Someday that guy turns away. Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice Angler.
Meanwhile, Angler felt as though Angler was looking down the barrel of a loaded arbalist and then just got a save. Like, it was very much a feeling of like, oh, I'm looking at my death. I'm looking at something that is actively going to try and kill me. Oh, hi, Obsidian.
All right, thanks, bud. You're gonna keep on.
Thing I want to establish about that scene was not trying to save Angler in any way.
Yep.
Just wanted to pet the cat.
Oh, hey, cool cat.
Hey,
Gotta
cool
pet
cat.
that cat.
I see Repose has also made his way up.
I propose we'll be waiting until Angler is done back there.
There's no interruptions until Angler's done.
Yeah, Angler finished. Angler also just kind of looks over and is like, "Oh, are we leaving? Oh, okay." And then just packs up his stuff, and just rolls it up and puts it in his stuff, and jumps down and heads back and just kind of runs into her pose. Hi.
Just kind of a nod and a slide past. Rose knows you were here. He doesn't have anything to say to you about what you've done. He'll just go over, take a look at the wall, praise the wall, approve of the wall, and just quickly sign off. Just somewhere near the corner of the wall. Yep, approve.
And as he's walking back, Angler's just kind of looking at all the other walls, going, "And that one's gonna go there, and the fight with blood's gonna go there, and that one's gonna go over there," and just sizing up. He's gonna cover this whole inner section if he can with all sorts of different paintings.
I am stomping over from the horticulture section.
Yang,
I'm
good job.
hurling glares at Obsidian and Repose and Chief.
Fuck you, Wong.
What'd I do?
Your soil's fucking perfect. I couldn't find any problems with it. I'm gonna storm off.
It's good.
That response to Chief, because the fuck you want was from Chief, just kind of makes Chief just stop and go, what? Like, not like of his audible what, but just like actually pause and rather than go for you, just kind of stay where he was sitting, just, what the? What? Too confused to be violent.
Ooh, Yang, I need your help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some probable medical assistance here in a bit.
Okay. So surgeon.
Probably. Do you have a
Are
knife?
you gonna, explain your plan.
Come with me.
Okay.
And we'll do this outside of the monastery as I take Yang and Stalwart Daughter out there.
What do you? Are we gonna cut your horse, buddy?
No, we're not cutting the horse. Okay, so hold up the picture. We're probably gonna have to fight this thing.
I mean, yeah.
I feel really bad that I sent you looking at Stalwart Daughter out there and this was there and you could have gotten hurt. I wasn't there and I'm sorry.
Oh, well, Stalwart, you hear that?
I want to do something to... I want to give you something that you can protect yourself with.
Are we going to give the horse a knife?
Can I have the knife?
Stalwart Daughter has gone kind of very placidly and helpful, like gratefully looking at Milan to just looking over to Yang, just like visibly. How would I use that?
Can I have the knife?
Sure. Here.
Okay, content warning. Milan's about to stab himself in the hand with the knife.
Okay.
This is going to be a blood right for bonding with the horse. So, description of self-injury and blood is incoming.
Okay, Milan is going to use the charmed Dragons Among Horses exaltation. I'm going to exalt my horse.
Yeah.
Pseudo exalt.
Pseudo exaltation. Short answer is I'm giving Stalwart Daughter my blood.
So, open small incision on the side of Stalwart Daughter, stab hand, mingle blood into each other, anima starts to flare as the blood of the dragons begins to flow into Stalwart Daughter, and there is a visible response in the eyes as they, you know how horse eyes, barring most circumstances that are like dangerous and problematic, like they're just completely dark because you can't see the white of their eyes. Her eyes widen enough that you can actually see the whites from them just kind of staring out to the sides naturally. It's just Wah!
Holy shit.
Okay, and for this, it cost me 5 motes, 1 willpower, and a level of aggravated health.
Huh.
Like Milan's blood, you can actually see is boiling as it is entering Stalwart Daughter.
When do I stop this to heal him? When do I stop
When
this
it finishes.
emotionally?
And like Angler kind of like slaps Yang on the shoulder and says, "When they finish."
But like medically, when is that?
We'll know.
Yeah, give it a few
Okay.
minutes.
Well, you might bleed. Hey, I'll be fine.
Okay, mechanically what this means is gains one of the following. Ooh, I get to choose.
Yeah, you. So this is like mechanically speaking, this is one of the fun tax charms that I've been completely ignoring because one of the base effects of this charms is that it lets your horse ignore, or your mount in general, ignore anima flare, which I am not going to make you have a charm to make your horse not die if you get too excited in combat.
Wait,
Those
that's
other
the thing
things.
in normal game is that the horse could
Yes.
just take That's stupid.
Yeah. If your mount doesn't have a hardness rating, it does get fucked up by your anima banner.
It's dumb.
I have been completely ignoring that rule because it's fucking stupid.
Now, I don't actually have a sheet for Stalwart Daughter, but she's going to get +1 to her dexterity.
There is a standard horse template in the core.
And now, there's something I had to talk about why Stalwart Daughter is such a good horse. So part of this is I have to spend 2 experience. Unless this is an elementally aspected horse.
Yep.
She has always been elementally aligned with the air. She was given to Milan as a birthday gift, I guess?
It would probably be like a coming of age gift, like near or around your exaltation. You would just get one of the fanciest horses that House Vanif could buy, and it ended up being Stalwart Daughter.
And then they became the closest of friends, and now they are actually probably can be considered siblings now. She has my blood.
Yep. The other 2 benefits of horse is so Milan chose 1 dexterity die pool, and the other 2 that come natively are 1 hardness point, which is again primarily there to make you immune to anima flux, although it does have its own tiny benefits, and 2 additional -4 health levels, which is pretty significant for a horse. She is now a good deal more survivable. Like, let me pull up
Good
the core,
horse.
check the base stats. But yeah, Milan is able to pull the hand away, and the blood has stopped sizzling, but the wound is still open and fairly gnarly looking. And the wound on Stalwart Daughter has completely sealed, and it's just kind of visibly jiggling. Her whole body is just kind of jiggling. You think that's just processing what happened? Maybe she just jiggled? Like,
Good.
you're not sure
good.
what's going on, but the horse has got vibes going.
Milan immediately falls unconscious.
And that's my cue. Cool. Do I have to roll for this, or can we just we fix it?
Just roll me your. If you have your medicine charm to downgrade ag into lethal, you can activate that and roll.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then just
So
roll medicine.
Yep. So Yang running up can immediately tell, okay, this is not like fatal, life-threatening injury. This is just Milan passed out from the sheer amount of pain that was involved in this.
Yeah, I'm just going to use wound closing technique or whatever the big one is.
Yeah, that one.
All right, so that downgrades it to a lethal.
Yep, which will heal relatively quickly, probably by the time you get to Gonzoda without checking.
Yeah, it's going to be short rests, basically. You'll be fine.
Milan is still unconscious.
Remember,
Yeah,
aggravated damage cannot be healed by magic, except all the magic that heals aggravated damage.
I am going to, once I close the wound, I'm just going to flop Milan over Stalwart Daughter and
To be fair to
nod.
the writers in that instance, wood aspect is one of the very few sources that does get to cheat. But yeah, I double checked, and Stalwart Daughter now has 20% more health, and is basically got +1 die to everything relevant to being a horse.
A good horse.
She is horse EX.
Has no bones, made of air, now is Jello horse.
Oh god, she's horse savage.
Has no bones, made of air, does not panic at the mere thought of a bee, the ultimate life form.
Horses unlocked additional mechanics. Anyway, Repose has spent this whole time just being over in the main temple, making wide array of routine offerings.
Mm-hmm.
to the fates, to appropriate regional beings, to the martyrs.
Hmm.
He's getting ready for fight.
All right.
I don't have any particular goal I want out of that, so I'm not going to throw dice
So,
in it. He's
otherwise,
just
I
making his
believe
observances.
it's observances made. And notice given to all of the maidens, actually, and the sun, and the moon, and honestly, whoever's listening.
Yep.
With that, go with Big Man.
Big.
What
First
time of day is
readjust.
it?
Or what time of day is it? At the temple before while you were leaving, because we're about to go back into travel time.
Yeah, it was just more of a curiosity kind of thing.
Like late afternoon, I would say.
Okay. And how long is it going to take for us to get down to Gunzoda?
Let me double check. About a day and a half.
Okay. The first night, Angler would have a thing, but if there's some other stuff, go for it.
No, you would be able to do the first thing on the first night.
I'm going to step away a moment, so go ahead and take that intermission scene.
Right. So at this point, it would be a new moon, correct? Because we are gone.
It has
almost...
just gone past the new moon. It is the beginnings of a waxing crescent.
Okay. At that point, at some time at night, Angler would take a step away from everybody else and just kind of look up at the moon. And he goes through like a dozen different ways in his head of like, how do I do this? I know Obsidian said keep it like simple and don't aim big, but at the same time, something happened, so forget it. And he's just gonna look up at the moon and pretty much just go, "Are you done? Because I haven't stopped shaking for the past day and a half, and I don't know what you did." And he's just gonna look up expectingly, not really thinking something's going to happen, but if he gets smote, he would have that brief moment before death of, okay, she did do something.
There is no response from the moon. If they have noticed you at all, then you are not getting anything.
That's fine. Okay. We'll talk later.
When did I give you advice on talking to the moon?
I
think
did I say obsidian?
Yeah, you said obsidian, but I heard it was repose.
Yeah, I meant repose. Just, I did help out Bear. Please, please, please watch Bear. I don't care if I have this for a while, but we did our job.
Manipulation performance.
Oh, good. That thing I'm good. Oh, no, I think I put points into performance. Or did I put it into presence? Shit. One moment.
The idea of a crescent moon turning into a cat face smile is a very powerful mental image.
I put it into presence, not performance. Oh, well, that'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great. No problems here. Let's not do exactly the same thing that happened before. God damn it.
Hey, you got willpower.
I do have willpower.
Are you debating whether or not the botch is funnier?
I mean, the botch is funnier. So, you know what? I'm 2 for 2 on getting a botch on a 4d10. Let's just roll with it and see what happens. Why do I do things?
I really don't know. No.
I rolled worse than I did last time. What the hell? I went from a 5-6 to a 4-4.
Nothing happens yet.
Great.
That's always good.
I'm back.
Hello, Angler accepted a botch playing to the moon, and I said nothing happens yet.
That was my response.
As he's walking
Repose,
back, he's thinking,
stop
like,
aiming high, party. But what if?
should
I just want to make sure business okay.
grant our wish? Should I put that in there? No, I don't know. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll
Rise, dragon.
Arise, dragon. Dragon, arise. So yeah, nothing happens as far as you can tell.
I can hear the asterisks.
Mhm. I'm not hiding them. So probably it would be around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon by the time you hit the Redoubt's outer edges. So, second. While I change the music, if I can get the damn link. Not that one. Not that
Yeah.
one. There we go. Rum's hard, holy shit.
I mean, we have to continue the cycle that's been happening for the past 6 weeks of Angler does something either smart or really stupid and gets fucked up for it. So, lay it on me. It's gonna happen.
To space!
I mean, what was supposed to happen was when I did the art fresco, I was fully expecting Azar to come around the corner and fucking murder me, but she didn't. So I had to continue doing something stupid.
Well, you might have been.
That was why Chief was there. And Obsidian saved your ass.
Correct.
Again, unintentional. It is just the running joke of when we are there, I meant as chief.
So, you're on the outskirts of the Gonzoda Redoubt's board, amethyst effect field, for the lack of a better term. It is about a mile or two inland. The music is Crystal Peak from Hollow Knight, by the way, for this game, because I love the music from Hollow Knight.
It's good.
The first thing that probably would be done to test would be throw Stick into field, and hey, look, Stick is not gems. So yeah, field seems to have solidly turned off, and when you enter, there are a couple of particularly brave wildlife, a couple of like starlings, some low-lying lizards, a couple of bugs that are just kind of poking around looking for like, okay, rocks. But the travel in is unsettlingly quiet. As in, like, literally in terms of things are not jumping you and trying to rip your face off, but also, like, audibly. Most of nature, the nature that makes the noises, isn't in here. So once you walk far enough, it's just silent beyond your own walking. It is recently accessible, but still pretty dead in a lot of ways. It has been purified in that sense way. Walking in further, I would want to make perception awareness rolls for everyone else.
Why do you do this to me?
So Darren can make me feel a little bit better about the doom that's coming towards me.
This is just like kicking the one kid that's bad at sports down constantly.
I'm there too, right?
Yeah, everyone is there.
Okay.
Including
Whatever.
Old Man.
Nice.
Old man
Nice.
operates. And there are 2 more in there from Excellence. Rose will just go ahead and glow faintly. Produce just the slightest of buzz. So 6 of awareness. He's listening deep.
How to phrase this?
Glass noises.
The wind through the crystal sounds wrong. It just the resonance as it is going through the crystalline trees and the frozen grass, the glass grass, whatever, crystal glass. It just sounds off. It just sounds atonal in a way where you would expect there to be some sort of resonance with the gems and the crusted up stuff everywhere as the wind passes through it. Just everything about it just seems a little bit off key to a degree, and the wind itself is all blowing inward.
Like it's blowing into.
Towards the center of the scene.
There is a vacuum. An absence.
Is that where the portal is?
Sounds like Air Boss. 'Cause the portal isn't here.
No, I would point into
the
the
sky
amethyst
isn't
where
up
the
there.
pooling is going. Is that where the portal is? Okay, not understanding
Alright,
how any of this
wouldn't
fucking
normally
works.
be like a portal situation. I'm talking about
The-
like all right, so like getting
he's
stuff
asking
out of
if
here is going to be a
Shadowlands-
matter of if there is a Shadowland nearby. He just goes there and then overnight slips from one world into the other and then is off on their way. It's not a portal thing. It's a
Yeah,
you
it's
go
an
to the spooky
overlay
land
layout.
and then it switches. Sounds like is that we our fiend probably standing in here. There's a bunch of weird stank air that is all spiraling inward.
As we're approaching this, we should probably bring up what air means and what the inverse of air would mean.
Air is the flowing, of the air, of essence. Like, essence, in a sense, is carried on air, although it is in all things. What happens when you take that away? What is not air?
I mean, a vacuum, right?
Stagnation, the doldrums.
Stillness. Absolute empty stillness.
Avoid.
Perhaps not in the sense of oblivion, but the space.
Yeah,
the
of
sense
nothingness.
Yeah,
Of,
there's a non-pressure zone in here.
yes.
Is that how he... Okay, yeah, that's how he is getting in there and getting things. There is a non-zone, a zone where nothing enters.
Or rather, things enter it and then they don't come out, because by definition, when you're in there, it's nothing.
Yes, but there he has a bubble.
Is there
If we
water
go in
around this
there,
bubble?
what was that?
Is there water around or in this bubble?
You don't see any so far while you are going through the zone.
Right now, we're just out in the landscape and experiencing the prevailing stank wind.
You haven't even seen the fortress yet.
Or approaching a black hole is what it is. Metaphorically.
Or the eye of a hurricane.
That one's probably the better definition. Wait, what was the first? Did we fight Earth first?
Yeah, you fought Scarmillion first.
Oh, okay.
That was
Earth, water, air,
that was-
fire, peculiar.
dust, blood, and now just emptiness, stillness, whatever you want to call it. Stagnation, basically.
Stank.
Okay, I have to mention this one to Darren just because it's a thing that, like, if I get close to it, I can feel it. Sense the hidden ember, which is I can feel lingering traces of supernatural power left behind by the mights of gods and exalted in a close range. If I get close to that, can you give me a heads up about it?
Okay. Within
Or on like
close
the
range,
way
you say?
outside of it.
Okay, specifically close range?
When she comes within close range of a location where the Exalted anima has reached the bonfire level or where a spirit has used one of its greater miracles.
Okay, that means you have to be basically standing on top of where it happened. So I'll let you know when that happens.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up as we're heading in
That
case
is
there's
definitely
multiple
something
miracles.
to keep in mind. Now, so you are all entering, and upon the distance, you begin to see a edifice come into shape in the horizon through the fractured amethyst trees and the broken landscape. As Obsidian would know this, being the military person, Repose would likely know this, also being military, Angler might. It's a little odd, and preface of me noticing something silly in the writing, and this is me spinning it into something reasonable. A redoubt is not meant to be a long-term fortress. It is meant to be a supplementary fortress, or an immediate source of temporary retreat during a military campaign. So a redoubt being on the junction of a pair of rivers as a strategic point is a kind of weird thing to do. And, like, of the group, Obsidian is probably the one that would remember that Lookshy has a history of kind of saber-rattling all throughout the river provinces on their own, as well as on the Empire. Just to kind of like, you know, hey, if you're not with us against the Empire, we have ways of convincing you. As well as Grey Falls being out here, being a reason that they would want to force project. There was probably some sort of military skirmish out this way, where they had a bigger fortress on the river, or somewhere nearby, and that got blown up or taken out entirely. And the redoubt, the retreat point where they're like, well, we got fucked up, let's get out of here, makes sense to be not on the river. If you really wanted a fortification to control this as a strategic point, you'd be on the river. You would be on the fork of the river. But doing so would also be a huge and immense military threat. That would be a direct kind of, hey, we are militarily claiming this triangle of land and everything behind it. Come fight this. And Lookshy may be belligerent, they're not that belligerent. So their fort is out in the middle of the peninsula, in retreat from the river, to avoid that kind of response. And what originally was likely a built-in kind of just trench in the ground surrounding a bunch of earthen walls that sloped in and then had a central area where people would be, had got built up over time with stone walls, and basically the people who had been assigned here from Lookshy and got stuck out here for, yes, basically forever, just kind of built it up and built it up and built it up because, I mean, nobody else is calling us on this, so we might as well just keep doing it. Eventually, got built up into a whole fortress.
Cubes.
It
Also,
is...
from what I recall, that is in line with prior lore about Gonzoda
Oh,
and
good.
Grey Falls. That the idea was that the Imperial presence in Grey Falls originates from a chunk of one of the attempted invasions of the East getting cut off and then just continuing to flee east until they found somewhere they could secure.
Yeah.
And Gonzoda is the army that chased them until, okay, they've settled down. Well, what do we do now? Siege?
I guess we
So is
sit here.
Gonzoda a Lookshy thing,
Yes,
or
yes.
okay?
This used to be Lookshy, and then a first stage weapon went off, and now it's all crystals.
And that was no
Everybody,
one's.
Don't say look Cheyenne. That's not. Don't make up words.
Lookshian.
Just
Luxian.
No.
You gotta say it fast.
You gotta describe the peoples of the place and their things somehow.
This was a
But-
disappointment. Now it is vacant.
Yes. But this used
Propose
to be-
will never appear to respect Lookshy in any form.
Yep. Look shy theory, fuck. This used to be a. Even if Repose will never admit it and never show it, this was a decently impressive stone fortification for having fuck all, no supplies, no backup, no logistical train, no nothing beyond what you could get yourself. It's been built up out of stone and mud brick, or was before it got turned into gems. And the crenellations along the top are fairly well placed apart for archery and crossbows. There's a peak from where you are standing, like this is probably like 30, 40, 50 feet up. There is an angle right where you are standing where you can just about see what looks like a ballista of some form that got, crystallized. And there might be other ones on the other towers and the parapets as well. The walk across the two has been kind of slightly chipped away by the times and travails of the elements. Oh wait, hang on. There's another important token I need to put on this map.
A dragon.
No. Well, actually,
No.
technically now, yes.
But we're observing this from outside the bubble, right?
The void bubble, you don't feel like you are in one right now.
Oh, wait, okay. I may have missed / forgotten a plot
The,
point.
the crystal bubble was deactivated.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whole reason we're here
You
is
have
because
been in
Tyrant
crystal bubble.
managed to remove the curse and has broken in. Well, had broken
Okay.
in a while ago.
I had forgotten that. I apologize.
Yeah, no, you're good. There. Star Wars
Thank you for horse.
She's just not on the PC's window, so I forget to deploy her to situations like this.
Is there any way to link her to me or to give me control over?
That would be something you would ask Doc, because I don't know Ortony enough.
Cool. I'll just have her follow me as I move around. As I am mounted on horse.
Delete, edit, no, I don't know. Advanced group. And then... Okay, so that makes a grouping window I can move around.
Okay.
So...
Don't worry about it for now.
Yeah,
whatever,
it's not a big deal.
otherwise.
If anything, just put some kind of tag on Milan to indicate that he is plus horse.
Mhm. So...
Because I'm grouped, I can no longer tag.
Oh, hang on, I'll remove that. Whoop. What on earth? Okay, you went off map. That's what happened.
Good lord, what is happening?
Get rid of that setting then. That's just shenanigans.
Horse is calibrating.
Horse is adjusting to new state of being. The stench of the air is now... How to put this? You know the feeling of the air in a room that hasn't been open for way too long, and it doesn't have something that smells necessarily offensive in it, but it's been let there to sit stagnant for so long that when you take a breath in, it feels like it is physically taking up space in your lungs? That's about what the air feels like this close in. It is unpleasant and palpable. From outside the walls, basically all you can see is the walls and the top of the citadel formation on the inside, which would be the inner barrack and fortification. Anything else on the inside is details you cannot see yet. In front of you is the gateways and doorways. The portcullis is actually fused to the ground by crystallization, and the doors have been swung open. So first step is getting through that.
Oh, so the door is closed?
The doors are open. The portcullis is still there. And, gemified into the ground.
Looks at
Well-
obsidian shield.
Immediate option. So this is an earthen surface.
This is an earthen
crystal.
surface, I say.
So I could just perfect climbing attitude my way up that and leave behind handholds for others to use in climbing.
Yep. Just immediate set of perfectly climbable material straight up the 30-ish foot
So
wall.
the question just becomes, where would we prefer to have our ladder installed? On the front or like on one of the corners? Where do we feel like going in?
Probably through the flank.
I would
Right.
think if we're going to put it anywhere. Oh, hold on. I need to get the pointing thing here. We'd want, yeah, right there. I'd say somewhere in a corner so that it has very few angles to be attacked from.
Alternatively, do it alternating.
this corner?
Darren, how many range bands would this ladder be height-wise?
Medium or long? I can't pick which.
All right, so
Damn.
each use
Okay,
of
can't
this
jump the horse.
covers climbing a single range band without an athletics roll.
So I'll put it at medium. They are high enough. They're dragon bloods. They made it high enough so you can't super jump for free, but you know, with a little more effort, you can do it.
I would like to have Angler nearby just listening in case something is starting to swirl in the air, because since it is so stagnant, you probably would start to feel any kind of movement.
Roll me perception awareness +1. Something's wrong. You don't know what, and you don't know why, and you don't know what's in there, but something in the courtyard itself is off. You just have a feeling in your gut. Like, you don't know how, and you don't know what level of what. It's just something is weird.
All right, so
Before we
just-
start doing any kind of talking, Angler would make like a motion to Yang to set up the connection thing that we can make motions to each other without speaking out loud, because
Uh-huh.
this is definitely something where we want to be as quiet as possible. But yeah, that's it for me.
So yeah, marking myself down 8 motes to make 2 range bands of ladder and just kind of spill over through a crenellation onto the roof.
Okay. As you mount over the roof, you are struck with a fairly unsettling sight. The former soldiers of the Gonzota Redoubt are still here. Frozen. Flash frozen into amethyst the moment the weapon set off, and stuck here ever since. They are still at their posts. A lot of them don't even look like they noticed anything was wrong at the moment they were frozen in place. A couple of the bodies you notice are actively shattered, as in not by the trials and travails of the weather, but like something came up and hit them, like crushed them. And the rest are just kind of standing around. And I'll just ask you to roll me a perception occult roll.
Sure thing. There's a 5.
So remember when you were here the first time and you saw the experiments of the bodies of the animated dead and they had their souls stuck inside of the crystal?
Mm-hmm.
There's no souls in any of these bodies. Neither of them. These are empty husks.
Meaning either they've been here long enough, have decayed, or something has been by to collect them.
Could be anything.
Darren, do I hear anything immaterial on Secret Wind Revelation?
And that's long range, right?
Yes, that is long range.
At the absolute edge of your perceptions towards the Citadel, you feel something.
there's something immaterial in there.
There's something in the courtyard. I don't know what, but it's probably waiting for us.
Fortunately, there's an abundance of reflective surfaces in all
There
these
are.
gems.
So, if you activate it, basically, I would say, just out of the rule of this being cool as hell as an idea, all of the contiguous crystal of the outside structure becomes the mirror. You'll have to actually look at a part of the wall that reflects into what you need to see, but the entire redoubt is now a spirit detecting mirror. And the first thing that Propose does is look around of the bodies, and still no ghosts, no souls, no nothing. It's just empty. It is unsettlingly, there is nothing. Capital N, nothing here.
How much you want to guess that the vacuum void devoured the souls of everything it walked past?
Plausible.
Slurped them right up.
Well, if folks want to
Yeah, if anybody
take the ladder,
like
and
this is
start
an
piling in
actual
here.
zone where moving around and where you are matters, so move your tokens appropriate.
Milan is going to hop up on top.
Alright. So Angler and
We are.
Obsidian, through the crenellations on this wall, would have a couple of mirrors down into the courtyard. They're not great vision, but you would be able to use spirit detecting glance into like around here-ish to here-ish. And
That's all Angler.
yeah,
Yeah, if Obsidian was
So-
moving anywhere close to the courtyard, Angler would grab his nope, I don't think I can reach your shoulder. Like, somewhere it'd be like, no, 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 no.
I'm gonna finish
you are
looking up the
you.
price of group spirit detecting mirror, just in case there's a surcharge. Just a
I mean,
willpower.
we have
so, yeah,
protocol
this is-
right now. If you want me to stop, you can just tell me.
Yeah, well, it's just
it
more
would probably
like,
be a reflexive actual both of them. Like, yeah.
and then, like,
so I'm spending a willpower alongside spirit detecting, so that's just the crew has vision on the surfaces here.
if anyone's gonna go look, it should probably be Yang.
Resonating.
Yeah, I could. Wait, what are we looking at?
So
we
this is,
wanna
a
go to the courtyard.
this is a map where moving around and where you are matters. So you need to be moving your token to where your character is and what you're.
Okay. I was just doing some miscellaneous chores of fucking.
As Milana's looking around, you just kind of hear a scuttling noise and look down, and Stalwart Daughter has the hooves in each of the handholds and is got a loose enough body to just kind of octodad straight up through them and just settles down next to Milan.
I mean, I'm just gonna use grasping rope vine.
We made a ladder.
There is
Yeah.
a
You
ladder.
can just take the ladder.
I'm gonna use grasping rope vine.
All right, mark off the moats to do it, and then do it.
Wait, right. This is a
It's
trap.
not free.
You're trying to trick me.
We
Nice
made a
try,
ladder.
DM. I use the ladder.
Yes, the trap
Dang.
of don't blow your resources on something when there's a ladder right there.
Wait a minute. This is a scene of action.
Actually, I sent a message to Darren going like, fuck, most of my stuff is for the ground. This thing floats. I can't see shit.
I sent the message back just saying, "Hey."
Yeah. How dare you destroy my greatest advantage, sight.
So, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna bumble out over here.
So, Angler is able to, via the glimpse, get a look at what looks like that might have been the. Well, first of all, looking around the position you can see now, there are more frozen soldiers along the battlement walls in the other bastions. Looks like they were all just kind of sitting at attention, just kind of like having a boring day. Sitting at your posts, talking to your Hearth sister, whoever you're talking to. Just, God, why do we have to look so fancy when the brass are here? Blah! Just so many people are just caught in a casual mid-pose. A couple of people more at attention looking out towards. One or two are in the middle of turning their heads over their shoulders as if they were going, what the hell is that noise? But otherwise, it's just a very unsettling flash freeze of a completely mundane moment in their lives. And it was the last one they ever had.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens.
And looking into the reflections into the courtyard, you can see what look like kinda shattered and twisted versions of what some of these people might have looked like. But they look less hostile and more just lost. Like they're milling around, not entirely aware that they're dead. The courtyard is full of statues. Several more are, like, there's a couple of pockmarks of broken ones along the walls. Like, a solid third of them in the courtyard are shattered. And there are a couple of ghosts just listlessly walking around with a sword in their hand, just kind of warped into kind of parodies of themselves, like wreathed in shadow or covered halfway through in just broken amethyst. And I need a second token for that one if I ever. No, never mind. But yeah, it's just a small handful that you can see of just wandering, bad vibes looking ghosts.
Yard's haunted.
Take care of them now?
Figure whatever is here doing this stagnation is probably deeper in, but I don't want to go in after it and leave our flank exposed.
We learn as much as we can from out here, and proceed accordingly.
So, what was that roll just now? Or was I?
I don't
delayed?
see any additional rolls. That was the perception.
Oh, that
occult.
was. This one would be free for Repose because this is just Repose's wheelhouse. Those aren't quite Mort Whites, but they're on their way. They look like upper soul ghosts that have been infested with whispers. They are not completely there in several different ways. They are lost, they are unsure if they are alive or dead, they are unsure of the perspective that they have. The only thing that is really kind of there is the muttering that they hear, and they're just kind of milling around emptily.
So if we have a stealth crew, they should maybe do the rounds, see what else we can see from up here.
Obsidian would just direct you of, if you exist and you can kill a ghost, slide down the right side, jump those two. The rest of us will come from here and we can just pincer them in that corner.
I think that's an excellent idea, but I do think that,
Remember, you don't see all of the courtyard.
yeah, I do think that Yang and I should take a quick look around, because I think we can keep fairly stealthy while we do it.
The rogue should really, go first here.
So, Yang, if activating Octo, I would say Dex Stealth from Yang, 3 from the Octo Camo, and another 2 dice stunt, because, hey, Octo Camo, everything is the same texture here. You're playing Prop Hunt when everybody used the same brush.
Yeah, thinking about it, I don't think Angler's even going to go with Yang. I can't
You
keep up
really,
with that.
I should
It's
just
just
be
punt
here.
and you just become a missing texture.
Yeah,
The
you
monk
are
is
on a
not going
wall
to go
with
with the
missing
rogue.
textures, and you become one yourself. They'll never see me.
Hold on, I'm giving a player with a trans pride icon a 5.56 pistol.
Very good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so like
Anyways, So yeah, what do I roll? Stealth.
Dex
Dex
stealth
stealth.
plus 3 from your artifact and a 2-die stunt.
So 13d10. Wait, how many dice do I get for my artifact?
That was 3.
Oh wow, 16. Okay. I'm gonna throw some excellencies in here.
If you
Probably.
got 13, that's probably because you're including the artifact.
Well, that and also the 3 dice done, right?
2-die stunt.
Oh, okay, so it's 15. I will give you 2 excellencies for 17. Or just an excellency, I guess, for 16.
I will give you 2 excellencies today.
Adequate. So I'm gonna, I guess.
I am proud and disappointed it took this long for one of the cohorts of crime to go, wait a minute, you're just describing the jazz textures. Yes, I am. Okay, so you roll phenomenally on stealth. Going to make the private side. Well, actually, no. I'll just do the overt roll. Well, good thing you rolled well. You actually had a real contender on you.
You could have been a contender.
Super glad I stayed back.
All right, so you just grease up and slide out there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go clockwise. Is there any point where I would be stopped in my clockwise journey?
So, middle of the upper, like top middle, would be a point where you would stop.
Okay,
So,
so I'll just move myself up there.
and so, as you are walking along, you see that there are other ghosts all through the courtyard. Seems like somewhere over a dozen of them. Just from your own internal barometer, and Repose would probably back this up via Hearthnet, this is not a fight that would be very dangerous so much as it would be loud. You would win this. It would be time consuming and you would blow any stealth you have if you actually fought through. Now, if you had a way of distracting them, if you had a way of stealthily taking them out or otherwise doing things, that would make it a lot easier. This is an alarm system, is what you are realizing. Like, this, your assassin system is like, this isn't here to kill people unless they really shouldn't be here. This is there to let whatever is deeper in know somebody is outside. They left some of the ghosts to scream very loudly as they get punched.
Ah, tin cans.
Broken-minded tin cans full of the whispers of oblivion. Because that's how they do. But something else you notice is just this brief chill. And at first you think, oh, maybe it's nerves, maybe it's a gust of wind, but before you realize it goes in through and past your muscle into your bone and settles there for a moment. And it feels like someone took your bones out, put them in a freezer, and then put them back into your meat. It is just a moment of deep zzz. That was not something going by. That was something supernaturally settling on you for a moment and then moving past you.
Ugh. It sucks.
It felt almost like if it had gone any further, it would have felt like a grip. Like your muscles would have contracted and you would have been seized.
I hate this.
So,
Something is in there, and it is something very, very much more real than the ghosts.
map structure question. So these additional bits here, are those like where the stairs are?
Those are stairwells,
Yeah,
yes.
all right.
Are there
Very good.
stairways at the top of any of the towers to the inside of the structure?
Yes, I would say. They go into the walls, which have doorways out into the courtyard.
Okay. But we could possibly be on the inside of the structure to get around to, like, this point, and then...
Yes.
It took Yang being obscenely good at stealth to get to that wall, though.
Well,
so...
that's on the outside. On the inside, it might be a little bit... Sound might be deadened a little bit more, so we could be a little bit stealthier getting around.
possible.
Also, I think if Yang is keeping an eye on us, we might be able to move as a group rather than individually. Is there a group stealth check in this game? I do not remember.
No, but at this point, I'm also going to not make you roll on it because Yang basically has a complete view of the courtyard and would be able to just coach you through it. Because again, these are shuffling, barely there shades. Like, it is a matter of wait until they're not looking in a direction and then just move, and then just have somebody play red light, green light on comms with you.
Oh yeah, I played
Alright,
that part of Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, I think with the report we have here about courtyard ghost situation, I'm feeling good about just trying to sneak into the core, and like if some of these former Jeffs stumble in, they should be manageable.
Mm-hmm. Like, if the whole swarm follows in after you, that might complicate matters on whatever is in the inside. Individual ones, Repose can just walk up and use instant burial cremation or whatever the charm is, and they would just go poof.
If the kindling all decides to put itself in a bundle, then that's just great.
Yes.
When we get over to the other side, can we just move over there where Yang is now?
Yeah. Would you be using top level or bottom level?
I would say
Let's go inside. Let's get more information.
Okay. When you are inside, first of all, who's on point?
Oh, probably me again, the rogue.
well,
You're
no,
staying
you're
up
out
on
there
top.
keeping an eye.
I think Angler's
Oh, yeah.
on point out
Probably
of...
me.
Angler, what is your stealth?
8.
It's Angler.
Yeah, I
Angler's
would
on
not be able
point.
to use bushwork here, what with it not being in the wild, so I don't think I get the extra excellency I have for stealth on this. Or whatever it's called.
Specialty.
Specialty, thank you. Words. Oh, wait, hold on. I got a really dumb idea. I don't know if this matters or not. There's a lot of these people that are walking around were watchmen, correct?
You would expect that they were conscripted, so yes.
If there's any officer or someone who looks like that who is walking around, Angler would step as if he was falling behind him and use his boots walking in his shoes idea to try to get the best path to the other side.
Roll me Dex Stealth 2 dice done.
I'll willpower it to get to 5.
Okay, now roll me Stamina Integrity.
Okay, just checking. That's just a flat roll, yes?
Yes.
Okay. 6.
You briefly mimic the steps of one of the shades on because there are a couple on the inside walls, but they are similarly, honestly, without them being a giant mob, actually quite easy to walk past. They're just kind of milling around, half forgotten. When you mimic the steps, there is another sensation of just a deep vertigo of suddenly it feels like, and you are on totally solid ground, but your brain for a split second is tricked into, you're on the edge of a cliff, you're about to fall, fucking fuck, get back. And you just hold yourself together and keep your balance as you feel yourself swaying uncontrollably as your entire sense of balance just vanishes as you are temporarily transported into the mind of a ghost that is infested with whispers and is more or less half there, and your body adjusts violently to the translated sensations. What you see in your brief memory is that if you go through the battlement walls and out into here-ish, about by the stairwell, like there's this door out to the courtyard in the stairwell as it goes up this way. And in here-ish is a back door to the citadel itself. You don't get a vision of what's lying behind it, but there is a way in that is not through the giant mob. And it would also allow Yang to sneak down through the stairs, get through this doorway, and meet back up with you.
I will look back and relay that to the group, and just for a quick second, put 2 fingers on either side of his nose and just kind of close my eyes for a couple seconds until the vertigo passes, and then move forward.
All right, let's go then.
So, then Yang here. Horse is a very good horse. It is unsettling at first, and you have the brief thought of, oh, maybe we're gonna have to leave Stalwart Daughter behind. Thunk! And then you watch a horse slither like an enormously large and fat snake around and below furniture outside of the view of the ghosts, and you briefly wonder at how wonderfully perfect an animal this animal is.
Yeah, what a good horse.
And get inside and take a look around before we try to open the door if we need me to, but I'd rather not do it if I don't have to.
What kind of door are we looking at, though? Has it been fused into
Crystal.
place?
It has been crystallized, and it is either fused into place or so close to the frame that you're gonna need a heavy shove. Suchi,
Well.
go.
Well, no going in quiet.
Well, possibly quiet if you think of a way through it.
Describe to me again what we're looking at.
It is what was once a wooden door frame that has been turned into amethyst both in the frame and the door. And they have sort of, kind of, not quite gotten in with each other. They're not literally fused into a single piece, but it is a pretty tight fit. So either, smash it, jiggle with it until it opens up, or do something else with it is kind of what it is looking at.
Gonna go ahead and throw a perception craft architecture to just very slowly and carefully slide up to door and just probably just like with a fine pointed knife, just run along all of the edges of this door. Look for the seams, look for
One dice done.
where everything is connected here. Let's verify if this is sealed in place, and if so, how much of it is actually fused.
So there is a little bit here and there that is fused that you're actually able to kind of crack and chisel with the knife. The major thing is that the hinges are sealed shut because of the crystallization, but if you are very careful and you chisel the hinges off, you could probably just let the door fall out forward.
Yeah.
Pop the hinges.
So, just
have other people get into position, ready to hold the door and gently get it out of position. Suppose we'll just kind of, in this situation where the cost of stone carving fingers will actually matter on a tactical level.
genuinely matter, yes.
Before we go in, should we be, girding ourselves for battle, as it were? Engaging.
You still on
forms?
the edges. The people with the spirit detecting radar can still on long range edge of perception. There is something immaterial in there.
How big
Alright,
is this
so-
tower again?
Well, it's like the inside of it is probably couple hundred, couple thousand square feet at least. Actually, no, couple thousand at least.
And how far up in the air does it go?
20 feet, maybe 2 stories.
Okay, so if we open this door, it's whatever is there is probably going to be right there.
Or it could be through a couple of different rooms. You don't know.
Yeah,
You
but
don't. You have no idea what the
it
inside
is a
layout
small
is.
enough space that like this would be a scene, is what I'm saying.
A scene.
Like for some charms that have a one scene duration and such, like this is something where we could use that stuff without it being
Oh yes.
without it wearing off. Yeah, because if we're going in, it's gonna be like we're gonna be right in the middle of stuff probably.
Pause. Yeah, I will say if you have pre-battle buff charms, go ahead and use them. I won't have them way off as a scene long, but
Milan is activating air dragon form.
yeah, you know, non-spoilery. Opening this door won't immediately get you into combat. You are very close.
I'm
Can I put a
gonna.
ballista in front of the door?
Perception awareness.
I'm going to spend. Let me see what I need to spend for this. It's so infrequently comes up. Now it is. Yeah. So whenever we roll for initiative, I would just take off 2 initiative. But I'm gonna preemptively, Whomst. Milan's generally far enough back.
Oh, you mean
I
defend
guess-
other attack?
Yeah, I guess Spanner.
Don't need it.
Okay.
Do not need it. Somebody else.
The problem is all of our melee units have gotten melee enough that they can block a hit.
If you're, I mean, are you? If
I
you're
would
like,
say Yang probably. Milan is
Actually-
very mobile. Yang is not. Well, Yang has rope trick, but that's the only mobility. Milan has a lot more.
if you're bringing this up with people, Angler would actually say, repose. Repose is our most adept person dealing with spirits. Repose needs to be the person who stays upright. I can
How
take care of
tanky?
myself.
How tanky is Repose?
Very, but I have also spent a lot of my mana helping to facilitate the break-in, so probably gonna need a minute to get up to speed
Okay.
when the fight starts.
There is going to be some charge up time for Repose. Repose is not going to be able to do the round 1 Raging Demon instantly kill something this time. Or if-
Then yeah, I will guard Repose. And just be at a deficit of 2 initiative. Somebody please, if I forget.
I have Angler is
actually,
going
if
to put
you
on.
use, I think they say if you use initiative charms out of combat, it doesn't spend initiative. I don't. But
I mean, that would be dope.
I'd have to look.
Also, you know what? It's no, I don't think I can. I think root hand merging is reflexive only.
Oh, for
Yeah.
just against. If it's reflexive, then you can just use
Yeah,
it in the
then
middle of your action.
You activate
combat.
it whenever it
Oh.
matters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
it
not
holds it.
that's not pre-prep. That's just fire it when it is needed.
So
You
Obsidian
just-
should probably be up here by the door, getting ready to.
Obsidian is glowing.
Angler is going to pull the moisture out of the air that probably is getting shunted off from.
Wait, where is the
activating,
door?
Wind
Directly in
dragon
front
form,
of Repose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and is going to use water dragon form.
Okay.
There
The humidity being pulled out of the stagnant air. If anything, you think, it's gonna be a little more bearable. No, now it is just suffocating. Now it is like desiccatingly stagnant.
Sorry.
Standard swamp breach formation from the Dragon Blood Horde.
Well, I
So
think if Yang wants to set up heavy weapon, he should probably be like back here then to like fire.
Heavy weapon.
Yeah, I rolled that perception awareness a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's
right.
what's
Yeah,
the payoff
I
from
need
that?
to-
Actually, you know what? In order to keep stealth, I'm going to use all personal for what I'm doing here.
Mhm.
Keeping dim. Did spend a willpower.
So Yang gets up and listens to the door as the Eye of a Cyclone in a swamp ass air. Yes, correct. Yeah, there you go. As the hinges are being chiseled off, Yang gently puts an ear to the door as the door is being braced for it to fall forward. And Yang hears something maybe like just from general familiarity of how sound travels, maybe 2-3 rooms in. Sounds like something whispering. Sounds like something just right on the edge of perception. Can't quite tell what it's saying, muttering. And the closer that Yang listens, the more Yang's head starts to hurt. It's a very dull ache that starts to start just above.
I am
The
going to
eye.
start frantically making a no hand gestures.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab Yang and pull him slightly back from the door. What's up?
Okay, there's. Hey, Repose, is there any sort of demon or something that like has a sound that will make your head like do a thing? You know, I try to describe what it felt like.
Whispering that makes your head hurt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, if you're
Suppose
concerned
would-
about it, plug your ears.
Really?
Do you not carry wax?
No, I just figured you would have more of a whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, wear appropriate ear protection while demon hunting, I guess, brother. Working on this door thing. They'll also get further lore answer, like, okay, yeah, strange, menacing
That
whispers
could
of
be anything at
unpleasantness.
all.
That's a very void thing, and we're in
That
a
is
very void
specifically the
place right
abyss.
now. Like, yeah, void stank.
Might be dealing with more of those on the inside.
Like,
I'm
yes,
gonna
we are
set up
doing the
I'm
thing
gonna-
again.
I'm gonna set up the machine gun.
Okay. If Yang's setting up the machine gun, I'll take the spot on the other side of Repose so that Obsidian and I can grab the door.
All right. Once the hinges are chiseled off, the doorway falls forward. Room inside is revealed. This is not the scale. I don't have the entire inside of the fort mapped out, especially to the scale that the rest of this map is for detail and drawing.
Yeah, it would be huge. We got you. It's okay.
But this looks like the barracks that you just opened into, and that's a lot of bodies on the beds. That's a lot of bodies fused to the beds. People who didn't even have a chance to wake up. Some of them are literally wrapped in their sheets and have been entombed beneath drapes of gemstone, and their faces pressed against the inside like a funeral shroud. You don't see any ghosts in here, but it feels wrong.
Is there about as many bodies as there are ghosts outside?
I mean, from the number of ghosts outside, there was enough that just on the walls and in the courtyard and broken apart. There should be more ghosts. There should be way more ghosts than what you've seen.
Curious.
Like, a lot more. Like, dozens to hundreds more. And you're not seeing them.
Propose, would it be possible to make a quiet prayer to Mars for these soldiers?
If you have words for her, then say them.
Fair. Talked to the moon a little earlier. She didn't say anything. Let's see if this works. Okay. And he's just going to walk quietly into the middle of the room, just so he can see all of them. And just the first thought that pops in his head is, I'm sorry you could not see the trouble coming with sword in hand. Please rest, knowing we will not fix the issue. Inter your bones after we finish.
If there was a response on any sort, it's unfelt, but At least personally, the bad vibes in the room feel a little less bad.
All right, so what
So
possible
there,
exits do we have out of here?
there is a door out to the east and a door out to the south from the barracks room. And if you walk towards the walls out here, the whispering that Yang heard is down this way, and you can start to faintly hear it at the door.
Yeah, that. See? That. Oh, listen, that.
Okay. He's going to take some pause, listening to Raposa's idea, take some wax, and apply it so that he deadens the whispers and see if he can hear something.
That's weird. All you can hear is the whispers now.
Great. Takes
It's
out
in
the
your
rest.
brain.
Yeah, thought so.
So if we plug our ears, they get worse.
Yeah.
Yes, that when
takes
you
out the
block
wax.
out your ability to hear, all you can hear is them. So probably take the earwax right back out.
Yep, it just immediately. Well, it probably washes out almost immediately. Oh, right,
Yeah.
water dragon form. Yeah, that thing that I'm doing. Just gonna get look like. Are you all ready? Because this is it.
I mean, no, but we should do this thing. I would rather
Shrugs
just go
at you.
home and take a nap, but like this is important.
I
So.
suppose other tactical question then. How thick are these walls?
About, I'd say 3 or 4 feet, maybe. Like that wall in particular. The inside wall feels thinner. That was like
Alright.
the reinforced outer
Yeah, because
citadel wall.
I'm thinking about what Yang's options are for fields of fire from the hallway if we're not engaging directly in this room.
Yeah, the ballista might
Can that
be
be moved?
cool there.
If you put, like, I will not make you charge motes to like deploy, redeploy, and move it in. You could set up in this room at the doorway, or try and shoot through the walls in the barrack with artillery, and that it would probably get through. It might be lessened, but it would probably get through.
Wait a minute. I have an idea. I'm gonna get some firecrackers out of my backpack. So if the problem is that there's too much no noise, we need more noise, right?
Oh no.
Yang,
I'm looking at Repose and Milan.
just locking eyes with Yang. Go loud.
When it's
No.
when it's time.
Yeah, when it's time. I thought you meant like right now. Like we're being
No.
quiet.
I just was like, I should use exploding air. Wait, that wouldn't do anything.
Well, someone want to wrangle a door open?
Yeah, who wants to kick it down?
Obsidian want to be up here?
Yeah, I think Obsidian and I opened the door.
So yeah, where is optimal ballista range, anyways? Like just here, basically.
I
Why don't you
believe
go-
optimal range for artillery starts at medium. I don't remember.
I'm probably medium away right now, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
At-
you know,
at-
this feels too close quarters for artillery. I'm just gonna use grenades as firecrackers. I'll stack up.
Okay. Just give me a moment.
No,
As-
I need it. Hold on. Angler's starting to realize that we need to know what's going on in the stupid room. Not as in like what's there, but the layout of the room. So give me a moment to pull up an awareness charm.
Yep.
There's just too many damn charms. Is this deep listening palm? No. This is feeling the dragon's bones. Okay. So, Angler's going to stop, sigh a little bit, but it's okay because he can use this without losing everything. And walk over to this wall and put both his hands on it and use Feeling the Dragon's Bones, which is using up a willpower to do it, but that's okay. And because this is a hard rock, he can see everything out to a long distance, actually.
All right,
As if it
so
was a black and white image.
how to describe this? It is the dining hall of the Citadel, and several of the tables have been scuffed off to the side, and from the topology that you can feel, it is after they had been crystallized, it was like shattered and moved slightly. Like broken up from the ground and moved. And the chairs are mostly in place, although some of them have been knocked aside and like actually shattered to several pieces. The general feeling of the room is that it was better way of putting this. You don't sense people. You sense pieces. Lots and lots and lots of pieces.
Okay, but is there a place in the room that has a good field of fire that I might be able to tell Yang where to set up? Like, is this
So
all one
yeah,
big room is really what I'm asking.
What kind of shapes are we looking at in the rest of this
yeah,
building?
yeah. Let me draw this out because this would be like. So like the best field of fire would probably like this is again like this is totally non-representative of the rest of the
Mhm.
of the. Like, hang on, I'm actually just gonna do another quick map for a sketch to actually have this because the whole this is going to start mattering. So draw shape.
Incidentally, this would also cover stuff in like a 360 area, so if there's anything up below or above, he'd also get an idea of that.
Loading.
Yep.
So, yep, loading. First of all, you would also detect that there is something below you, and it goes out to long range. You said?
If this is, I mean, this is solid rock, right? Stone?
Yes.
Yes, it goes out to long range.
It goes down a long way. Like there's a 3-story empty space below this fort, and you're not sure how to describe what's down there on the floor. It feels like a mess. That it feels like this was that what you are feeling is probably the vault that they were keeping the weapons in, and you don't sense from where you were. Well, actually, from where you are standing, I will put it on the map. You do sense the general area of what feels like a trapdoor with a ladder down, and it's still sketchy. Oh. Really should have thought of this.
Just because he would be looking for this because what his aspect is there any running water in this area? Or water
There
in,
is
like,
a small pool of what feels like water in a container in the vault, and that's the only water you have nearby.
Okay, thank you. What feels like water? Oh boy.
It's a liquid.
That is not making me feel better.
It has
That's-
fluid dynamics. At least one.
That's concerning. Not because it might not be water. It's the fact that there's anything that isn't amethyst in there.
Yes.
The fact that you kept asking, well, there's got to be water, and I'm sitting over here going, why would there be?
So let me just.
At least to me, because, Darren's still setting stuff up. An aquifer might start moving at this point, since it's been several weeks since this all started not being amethyst anymore, so there might be some water seeping in.
Yeah, depending on what their well situation was.
Like, nature abhors a vacuum, and then suddenly there is a giant vacuum here.
Starts pouring into what?
The empty space.
But like,
Probably through like cracks in the gem as
yeah.
breaks.
Yeah, like what Nubia's getting at is that the water that was already there would be like a plug
Yeah.
of rock.
Like
got
if
you.
there was a
Fill in the
river
space.
and then all of a sudden the amethyst wasn't auto turning anymore, the water wouldn't flow in because there is a giant block of amethyst in the way.
I'm also curious if the amethyst is only like surface deep, so anything underground might not have been affected. So again, it's just more like trying to get some
You can't.
information.
Yeah, you can't tell that from the radar.
Yeah, again, it's really just I have long range distance, and this is the second time I've had a chance to use this chime, so by golly, I'm gonna do it.
All right, there we go. There's 4 now, what you can and need to see. So, to answer the range of fire question, is from the shape you can feel, probably like dashing through the door and setting up here would let you have an entire sight line down the rest of the room. This is some form of room or rooms, you can't quite tell. This is where you feel like the ladder is, and out beyond that, you can't reach.
That's okay. So yeah, so this room over here is just where ladder is, but that's not where we feel bad stuff is.
No, the whispers are coming from the dining room area-ish.
Okay. And there's only one door into the dining room?
That in the room that you are in, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, I will relay the information for if Yang's going to set up shop over on the western side of this area. And then the rest of us can make like a rough wall between Yang and problems if we like bust into the room.
I'm going to throw grenades in there.
When we get started?
Yes.
Okay.
Now.
In a moment, I need to step away for a second.
That's fair. So, let us set up. Do they only have this? Okay. Yes, my usual source got taken down. So, as the door is again shoved over, there is a loud sucking of even the stagnant air in this room just gets hurled in through the door, and there is a brief moment where you need to brace to even stay on your feet as the sheer air pressure differential coming in nearly knocks you over. And the smell now is almost unbearable as the concentrated smell of death in the entire region has been concentrated in this room and sat. It may have not had been here forever, but at least whatever is carrying around this pocket of stagnation is having it follow it around. And it is vile. It is disgusting. And what you see at first is a very confusing sight. It is an odd sensation as your brain starts to shuffle as what it's seeing is just like, hang on, what? And then personally, I'm realizing that there is one set of events and sequences that I was expecting this to go backward with whatever, I'm rolling with it. In the center of the room is a whirling like field of shards that you recognize as, hey, what's the only thing that was broken? Oh. It's in the shape of a person. It's sitting in the dead area of the air, just hovering as though the air had grown so thick, solid, and stagnant that it was just holding up the shards in place, refusing to let them fall. Shattered and broken into a parody of a human figure as they kind of turn to witness the door opening. And a hand reaches out towards the door.
Do I throw a grenade now?
You join battle is what you do. Yes, the music is taking a second longer than I thought.
Hey Darren, you mentioned that there was like air pulling us, like pulling the door in, like into towards the main room, not where we are.
Yes.
Can I just let you that vacuum effect take me just into the room?
You will go prone if you do.
Never mind. Except I would have eaten so much
So-
shit.
On my lock casting on Temmie, is it just the 11, or do I add a +3 to that?
What?
If I see a joint battle score on my lock casting at Temmie,
You
is
roll that many
general?
dice.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
This might be a turn 1 maneuver. Never mind. And actually,
All right, let's where's Doom
should
into
be
this?
here. I was assisting Angler to open the door.
They add the turns to counter.
Still behind that.
Where's join battle? Right, I need to close the sheet because it doesn't show any join battle if I'm editing. There it is. Yeah, I'll spend some will on that as well. Remember that one time that I got to use my socialize score? That rolled.
And up to 3 1s on its join battle. Grant me bonus dice.
Right?
There, enter.
You get 1. Use it well.
There's Doom.
That's Doom right
Doom
there.
extremely fucking located.
Ah, there's the dice that Darren needed to catch up to all of our bullshit rolls from earlier in the session.
Alright, so we
Set your starting initiatives. 3 plus whatever you got on roll.
Yang. Yep. So, descending. Turn order is unknown name Doomoid. Yang and Repose simultaneously. Milan and Angler simultaneously. Obsidian Shield,
As is the style.
as is tradition.
The thought process I'm having is almost okay. Is this a double door or a singular door?
Singular.
Okay. And Repose removed the hinges, right?
This one I think we just kicked open.
Yeah.
We did the fancy disassembly of the door behind us.
This one you
Okay.
knew something
Over
over there,
there.
so you just kicked it the hell open.
I have an idea for a strength check, but I have to wait for my turn.
Okay. I am looking at the sheet I have made and just going, okay, did not expect this much starting initiative. What do I do with it?
Who dies?
Oh, there's a large man.
Just want to say, Darren, I am looking forward to this fight of air between me, air, and fighting anti-air.
Good air against bad air.
I think that all the people who were the anti versus regular versions had good fights, because I think Repose had a great time against Earth, and I had a field day against water.
Yep.
Sorry, the Spirit of Dampness had a field day against water with the tidal wave that washed away all the blood.
Alright. I have decided what it is going to do. It is going to spend 12 initiative
Oh, that's a good thing.
to activate one of its special moves. Because I was thinking, does it really go this hard this early? Okay, yeah. So... it's not crashed, but it is lower initiative. However, in exchange, it extends its arms out and pulls inward, grasping with a fist and yanking inward. And all of a sudden, none of you can breathe. At all. There is no air in your lungs, and the muscles that they're pulling in no longer function. You are drowning on dry land. You now have a -3 penalty to all of your actions, and you have a death clock until you figure out how to turn this off. If you reach stamina times 2 turns without turning off this effect, you will die.
Who has low stamina in the group? Turns to Venif.
I have 3.
Okay. Old man, I think, had decent, but that barely.
Old man is actually extremely good at holding his breath.
Yeah.
He has a feat. He has
Yeah.
iron gloves as well.
Question: does
Oh,
Vanifa
form
even have? Keep doing that. Does Milan even have an issue? What with the air dragon form being up?
Yes, actually, it rips the air out of Milan's lungs.
Cool.
Does Yang have stam?
Yeah.
The lowest stamina in the group is Milan with 3.
Okay.
You have ripped the deep cleansing breath of the air dragon out of my lungs.
We have a puzzle to solve.
Yep. You have a death clock. Figure it out.
How to breathe.
Whose turn is it? Mine?
It is now Repose and Yang simultaneously.
So, medically, did I feel the gas leave my lungs?
Yes, you felt not only the air escape your lungs, your diaphragm is paralyzed.
This is a really stupid idea.
Go ahead.
So we've been establishing that Yang smokes weed, right? This entire campaign, that's been a
Oh,
funny
yes. Okay,
Yes.
this is a great way of starting. Go ahead. Go.
joke. Can I, as a joke, as a side experiment, can I pre-establish that he has made a gas mask that will shoot weed into you, and I can use this to uncollapse my lungs? Like, it's just a weapon that's always kind of going.
You know, in other systems and in other circumstances, I would make you roll an establishing flashback roll for that, but no, this is too fucking funny. You can just have that.
This is the one. This is foreshadowed. I'm declaring that now.
No, this is just, I would accept that Yang has that. It's just, what if I overclocked a bong so it overpressurized my lungs?
It makes sense. The scientist would do that. The stoner scientist.
Alright, so that will take your entire action to put it on and activate it. Is that alright?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, roll me stamina resistance once you have the mask on.
Okay, what even is that? I think that's an 8. Stamina 4, resistance. Oh, 9.
Yeah, we upped your resistance after realizing it should be very high for Yang.
I can't fucking believe this.
Alright, so you have gotten a decent amount of, like, you feel your lungs having collapsed and your diaphragm having paralyzed get filled with bong smoke. And the problem, all of a sudden, wait, does this have an exhale function? Oh, crap. So, you have successfully gotten your lungs to be back to inflation. Now you need to get it back out and get it, like, back to physical manipulation. You have basically step 1, so, like, Your approach has just solved step 1. Now you need to solve step 2. Your drowning counter is delayed by 1 turn.
How many actions do I have left in the round?
That was your entire action.
Okay.
Repose.
Hmm. All right, so that wall over there isn't all that thick.
That's a wall to the outside
Yeah, that's one of the external walls of this building.
of the citadel, yes.
Leads out to the courtyard, which on the one hand is full of ghosts, on the other hand it's full of more air that could be zooping into this space. Also, the sky, the source of an indefinite amount of additional air. So I think my action is to move over here and attempt the old feat of demolition.
Yeah!
I want to slam open a big hole in this wall. We need ventilation.
This town needs ventilation.
So, strength, athletics. -3. And over in charms. Oh, so I went and looked up the exact timing of it. Mana recovery in battle is 5 at the end of each round,
Yes.
is how it works.
Also, I'm going to ask this just out of the sake of fairness, and you can say no to this if you want. Would people be okay if the timer is stamina dots and not stamina times 2? Because that actually makes it a more imminent threat.
I have an idea.
It is up to everybody else because either one of those is just fucking whatever for Obsidian.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like 4 rounds is enough.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay,
As the person with the shortest clock, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, Milan has 3 turns to live. Unless this puzzle is solved.
Alright, yeah, so Repose slides on over here and just gets ready to slam hands into this wall.
Alright. Go ahead.
Sure, there's the imminent doom of, one of the enemy over there, but there's also the imminent doom of some asshole built this. Some asshole built this barracks without enough windows. You expect people to sleep in this? This is why your legion is failing.
I'm glad you caught the deliberately shitty design, and so did Morgan.
So, preemptively pop another willpower into that. And there will be 2 successes from the athletics excellency that I will mark down here. Or wait, 4 off of 12 means 8. That's up to 8, so now I'm at medium anima. And gun it. Okay, so 4 on starting to try and punch a hole through this wall.
4 successes. Okay, yeah. You got maybe about halfway, maybe a little more the way through the wall, just smashed open in a single hit. Next is Milan and Angler.
You want to do
first
your thing
thing-
first?
Go ahead and do yours first.
I meant what we had chatted about, actually.
Oh, yeah. On my turn, which is also Daughter's turn, she's gonna panic because she can't breathe now. Try and find an exit.
Actually, Stalwart Daughter can breathe. She wasn't targeted.
Interesting.
That's a horse. What do I give a shit about that?
That is exactly the thought process.
Nice. She's still going to open this door.
The door to the right.
Yeah, there we go. that door.
Okay, so angry / panicked horse charge directly into stone wall. Under normal circumstances would be a 50-50, and usually leave the horse in a very deep problem. Tower Daughter is made of meat jello. Like, not the jello that is made of meat, like normal, like meat and bones. It is entirely muscle in there, and it won't stop. So it just kind of compresses against the door when going at a full gallop, like backs up, full gallop into the door, compresses against it until it slams through and smashes in. And what you can see is that this, at least, is a part of the preparatory kitchenette and just general storage for food. And what was once covered by one of the ovens has been completely smashed open, and there is an open trapdoor leading down with a ladder. And more air rushes into the room.
Interesting. Oh, also, since you have sucked the air out of Milan's throat, I'm taking off air dragon form because you have sucked the air
out of it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You said more air rushes into the room. Does that mean we can breathe now?
No.
No, there's air in this room.
There's
There's
something
just
to
no
think of.
There's just
You-
no air
you're
in our
all
lungs.
you're all paralyzed and your lungs are empty. It's a matter of get more air in there and also figure out how to use it.
So Milan has an idea. Not so much as an idea as a panic. I can't breathe the air around me. But what if I breathe other air? What if in a panic I breathe the air of the spirit world?
Breathe with your whole body.
As in this panic, I am buying 100 Devil's Whirlwind,
All right.
which lets me roll Wits Occult with double nines to create a mystical vortex extending out to medium range, choosing whether it repels or attracts dematerialized characters or spirits.
All right.
And I'm still getting the -3 from,
Yes.
can't breathe.
That was something I should have accounted for on some
Piss!
roll, but whatever. It's too funny. Oh boy! Do you want to spend a willpower on that? Actually, no. Does botching even matter on a charm activation? I don't remember. Does it?
Depends on what the charm says it does.
It targets the resolve of a character. It determines the limit of their resolve of can they resist being blown in a direction.
Okay, so in this case, I would just say it flat doesn't.
I fail to breathe the spirit air.
Or you set up the whirlwind and it just is like it's anti-air. It just does nothing to it. Like the air around it moves and then it just goes still again because the elementals aspect on this is much stronger. Angler.
Okay. This is kind of a specific question, so bear with me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already in water aura. Does that mean that there is actual water floating around me, or what's going on here?
I've never really thought about that, but I'll let it count.
Okay. Angler's gonna let that water go directly into his mouth and lungs and flip off the ghost because I can breathe water.
Angler has solved Angler's version of the drowning puzzle.
You call this drowning?
Yes, I'm used to drown. What are you doing? And then he's going to saunter up the ghost and punch it in the face.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I'm drowning. Dang.
Oh no, I'm drowning. Wait, now I'm drowning.
I just need to make sure I have the right one for this. Okay, I'm going to start off with flowing water defense. So I'm going to make an attack against it, but then afterwards I'm going to immediately go into full defense from the attack. So he's just throwing a regular punch here because he's kind of tired, and then we're going to see how it goes. So
Angler's not really feeling it today.
I used a
It
lot
has
of modes
evasions.
already.
It has evasion 7.
Evasion 7, thank you. So I don't have the -3. I'm going to put in Brawl Excellency to this to make sure I'm doing this right. Where's the damn roll? There it is. Okay. 7, you said? That's gross. Okay, and then I take a small penalty this because I am technically flurrying by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't take an initiative penalty. That is exactly 7.
Exactsies! Roll your damage.
Alright. What is its...
Its soak is 10.
10? Okay. So that means I get 5 on top. So 5.
Oof!
Cool! That's fine. I hit it. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, you
Angler,
actually
at this
you
point.
applied an overwhelm stack, is first and foremost. And you don't lose initiative because you hit it. Do you still gain one and it looms what? I don't remember.
No,
Isn't
I don't
there
think I
like-
lose anything, or I don't think I gain or lose anything. The important thing to Angler is that he hit it, because that means that his thing goes off.
Okay,
You
yeah,
get
you basically
one initiative from having landed the hit. Inflicting no damage means it doesn't lose anything.
Okay, so
from,
you gain one just for the hit, and it doesn't lose any. That's the part I didn't remember.
Yeah, and I mean, Angler wasn't going to try anything special there because he already just sucked water into his lungs. That's why he's not trying to do any fancy smashy stuff. But as he hits, he starts to almost circle around her, it, them. Sorry. And it's
Thinking
Stank.
Barbarisha, it's fine.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Barb, and at this point, it
Looks
just
like
looks like it's almost
Bogey.
impossible to tag him.
Obsidian.
So Obsidian readies his sword in this thing. You're like, okay. The Obsidian charges in. No. Obsidian cuts the hinges off of the door. And, oh, look, there's the ghost man who sure is sucking everything. I kick the door at him.
All right, I like it. I like
Over
it.
the codec, I yell, Angler, duck.
What?
Oh shit!
I would assume that's a strength athletics roll.
That is a strength athletics roll, and I'm gonna count that as an improvised heavy weapon.
I don't know what that means.
I'm looking for you. Just 1 second.
Also, I think I just see it coming because I don't think you can yell right now.
Over the codec.
Oh, the codec, that's fair.
Yeah,
Mental
you
yell.
can still communicate through body language. Very loud body language that you can't.
Body
feel.
language like kicking a door at you.
Body language, like, I heard the hinges get ripped off the wall, and I look back like, what the fuck are you guys? Oh, God.
Ah! Okay, you get +3 accuracy on
All
the
right,
attack.
so just cancels out the
The
minus.
drowning.
Oh, just
penalty,
got an
yes.
even dumber idea.
Oh god.
And this is with a singular auto success because I actually only have 3 athletics. I should probably bump that up at some point. Anywho. Wait, I think 10s do something.
That's double. So 4 plus your 1 auto success. If you willpower it, you hit.
Well, hold that thought. Because I'm using the excellency, I get a additional non-charm die for the 10.
Okay, so you don't
All right.
need it.
So that's
you
a
hit
6.
clean with a, you hit with a no, that's a 7.
You
get a free
Oh,
extra.
You had an automatic success and the reroll.
my brain was doubling bad.
Yeah, so you get 1 with a threshold success. And I'm just gonna rule this as an unsoakable attack because it's a fucking door. This is an environmental attack, is what this is. So the damage on that is going to be your strength plus 14, overwhelm 5.
Okay, yeah, sure. Overwhelm is additional die or just stuff
That
on top?
is, you cannot go below 5.
Okay.
But that don't matter because I am having its soak ignored because what the fuck?
You said my strength plus 14, right?
Yes, that's what I said. I know what I said.
Alright, just making sure I got the numbers right there. Anyway.
I started blasting.
Hadouken!
So Angler sidesteps out of the way right as the elemental looks up and is just, even in the broken shards that vaguely assemble a face, there is an expression of just, oh fuck! Before the door completely bowls through it, and it is sent barreling backwards and knocked prone as the shards that make up its body literally all fly out like shrapnel. No, that was withering. That was not a one-shot.
Yeah. That's dies double on withering, right? So that's 10 damage.
Not.
You have very
Yes.
crashed.
Yeah.
So you get 10 initiative off that.
This is the most initiative Obsidian has ever had.
Plus another 5 for crashing, right? Like,
Yes,
you get
so you're at
5 for
20.
crashing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you still
Obsidian
move.
mad! Now, this undercuts the gimmick of the boss a little bit, but not by much. Like, well, actually quite a bit, but... So the gimmick is, at the end of the round, for everyone who is still air drowning, it gets 1 initiative back. Even if it had had all of you, it wouldn't have gotten back out of Crash. It is at -1 instead of -6.
I have a move.
All right. So we recover 5.
5 motes.
Thank you.
Solve my void puzzle! No.
Solve my door puzzle.
That's only peripheral that you regen. I barely spent motes. I'm
You,
good.
you can
It
refill
starts
whatever.
with personal and then is peripheral.
Okay.
It's any missing motes. I think it regenerates. No, it regenerates peripheral first, then personal.
Either way, I spent 5 and regained 5, so I just stay where I'm at.
Obsidian. Top of the round, charged and ready for action.
You can delay in this, right?
Yes, you can hold action.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold action until after Repose and Yang go.
Thank you. I have
You lose
I have
2
a
initiative for doing
capstone.
that, though.
I'll live.
Yeah,
I have a
his
capstone for Goose
inspiration.
Style.
Do you now?
So all the best science happens in the heat of the moment when you don't expect to be doing a science test. Yang is blisteringly high right now. The only neuron happening right now is I'm gonna kick that guy's ass. What's the most I got my ass kicked? And I want to tap into my defining intimacy or whatever it is of Sybil as my mentor and become Think Zerker of Goose Style. I just want to remember like the exact poses, the exact things that Sybil did to almost beat me to shit.
Hang on, let me just switch.
So yeah, I'm just gonna like slouch over, exhale somehow, sound like a demon.
It sounds more like just the sound of like
starting at a walk and then becoming a dead sprint. I'm gonna grab a chair from the kitchen on my way to this motherfucker. I'm going to jump off of Angler and then give him the folding chair.
roll me dexterity brawl with the 3-die stun.
Let's see. Brawl is. I think I made that. Oh yeah, I made that like a 4, I think, or 3. That's a 3. So
And fists are light weapons, so that's 4 accuracy as well. So it's a total of 7 on top of your strength and brawl.
strength and brawl. Wait, strength and brawl? I thought you said dex and brawl.
Or dex brawl, yes. My mistake.
Okay. So 8 plus 7. So really?
Yes.
All
You
right.
need to hit, well, a 5 now.
I would like to add a fact to the scene that is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
As Yang is rushing in like a berserker, he has that like Oni mask thing of the smoke coming out both sides of his mouth.
Oh my god! It looks like an
Yeah.
Oni mask.
Yeah, you basically have turned the Yakuman mask into an Oni mask with this.
Berserker. I'm just gonna scream the chair as I fucking aim for the head.
All
I
right,
guess.
so you hit with 2 threshold successes. So now you roll your strength plus 7 plus 2. So 9 plus 9.
I don't think I have any strength, so I think just 9.
You have at least
yes,
one.
You do. You have a
Okay.
body.
Okay, 10 then. That's pretty good.
Okay, that's 5 successes. So you gain 5 initiative and it loses 5. And roll me stamina resistance at the end of your turn.
Yep.
You realize that you can breathe again, and somehow, some way, you're not sure how, but you're certain that Sybil is very proud of you right now.
I knew it.
Somewhere, yes, good.
Anyway. So, repose.
Anyway, over the shoulder repose is noticed, did a water thing, did a wood thing. I need to do dirt thing.
Dirt boss!
So Repose needs to get this done more so, and just kind of like, all right, so yeah, like the opening attack on the wall, he probably just kind of took a swing at it with his free hand. Now though, he is going to drop the stick on the floor and then just dive into the gap in the wall he has created and just start tearing at it with all appendages
Very
and
good.
biting into the rock. Show this dumbass rock who's boss. Completely shredding with every available hardenable or sharpenable surface of his body.
Fucking Rock thinks it's so smart.
Gonna traitor it. Alright, 2 dice down under your feet of demolition.
Just take in the sand. Normally, there's a lot of very important safety techniques involved in don't breathe the sand because that's bad. I am the sand. I'm Sand Boss.
Snort the gems.
I love inhaling millions of tiny knives. I love inhaling millions of tiny knives. Just put them all in my lungs.
Yeah, anybody else would be having silicosis right about now. Repose has reactivated his lungs out of the sheer pain of Oh, wait, hang on. No, oh, wait, no, friend, rock, friend, sand, friend. Yeah, wait, I'm breathing, right? It's incredibly painful, but it works.
Lung meat is all, gee, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. Get back to work is what you do.
So yeah, you just shred a hole clean open in the wall as you breathe in, and the sunlight begins to come through, and briefly dazzles everyone in the room as it reflects off all the surfaces. And the ghosts on the outside turn around at the noise, and visibly just have a moment of like, fuck that though. There's just enough of them left under the whispers to go, not my problem.
All right, I've created an air hole.
Okay, and Repose can now breathe. Angler
Healthy
can now breathe.
lungful of
Jane can
pocket
now
sand.
breathe. Remaining, Milan and Shield. So next is Angler.
Well, Obsidian said that they were waiting until after Yang and Repose went.
Yeah, it'd be Yang's turns now.
Yeah, so it would be
Fucking
Shield if you want to go
Obsidian.
first.
Do
I'm
the
done.
move.
So, as we're all aware, Obsidian had a very stressful week many months ago. The particular capstone of all that, while somewhat, relieving of stress and things that happen, was not wholly satisfying to him because deep down, there was something that wanted to crush that man's skull into his own head to a singularity. And he has not been able to release all of that rage for a very long time. There's a man over there that he very much can do that to. And almost just like an Olympian doing the long jump just into the room in like 2 very long bounds and then jumps pretty much like over Yang as a wolf bite clamps down on this thing's head.
We're basically doing a bros attack now. I'm stepping back from the chairs, and then you're jumping over after he's been shared with an actual real fucking...
By God, does it have a family, actually? Alright, so roll crushing wolf bite.
Demon crushing wolf bite is based off withering. This is Crimson Fang, which is double strength,
double damage
10s on a decisive roll. And as the thing that Obsidian maybe does once every 3 months of us playing this game, I have to remember how you roll decisive attacks.
Should be on the front of your character sheet.
I will say up front, as a kindness, this is not the only combat there is in this place. There is another set of combat that you sidestepped that I was assuming was going to come first, and I'll discuss that later.
So this is the what's it called? Just the decisive 9.
Decisive. It's just your initiative.
Oh, it's my initiative.
Well, no, the initiative is your damage. It is just your 9 to hit.
Okay.
Yes. No accuracy bonus.
You know what? Yeah, let's double down on this. Like a meteor, like a comet coming down, because I'm about to see how much, how many motes I'm spending here. Here's melee. Crimson Fang. Crimson Fang uses willpower. Alright, that's 3 motes and a willpower. And then Burning Fury is also 3 motes because for every 10, I am ignoring strength, rounded up, so 3 points of hardness, plus 1 additional for every 10 I roll. Hey,
Ooh, goodness.
So that's 5 hardness gone.
Yeah, it is. That is, let me double check. That is,
That was just your 2 hit, right?
That was my 2 hit.
Yeah, you hit. You absolutely hit.
Now,
And the hardness don't matter anymore.
do the thing.
So now for the follow-up fun thing. The double strength thing on Crimson Fang is I double damage. If I roll 10s! There's a lot of pent-up rage coming out right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to work out. So, probably like a good 40 years of repressed anger is coming out in this hit. Yeah, this is an attack that would instantly kill a mortal with overkill.
Damn.
Like, as Doc just said, even with all of Old Man's ridiculous defenses, Old Man would be dead right now. Old Man has nothing to stop this.
Obsidian, if he wants, could kill.
Obsidian could kill possibly the strongest mortal sorcerer in half of creation dead in a hit. So yeah, the sword just. Do you swing it down? Do you like stab it down? What do you even do to this thing?
So the God, my brain. Sorry, coming off of that. The visual that I've always had for Crimson Fang is it is a simultaneous sword strike that almost looks like a wolf's jaws clamping down on the target.
God, yeah. So you just probably in a very deliberate, spiteful bit of vengeance against this thing and your father, just bring the sword down on the throat of this thing. Just crunch. It may not have to breathe itself, but it is a very satisfying feeling. As it is just grabbing at the edges of the blade in an absolute terrified panic of this. What? No. Stop. No. Help. What? What? I was supposed to have warning. I was supposed to have setup. No! There is just a deep, innate feeling in this fiend.
Why are there dragons here? What the fuck?
There's a deep, innate feeling of this is going so wrong. This is not how this was supposed to go. Obsidian resets to 3 initiative. And Angler.
Who can still not breathe? Is it just Obsidian and Milan?
Obsidian and Milan. Although, actually, just from the level of sheer fucking violence that just happened, I would say Obsidian is now able to breathe and just doesn't consciously realize it yet. Just literally got so mad that he forgot he was cursed.
For all intents and purposes, Obsidian is blacked out at this point.
Yes.
And Obsidian's thing, does that shred hardness on the
No,
opponent?
no, that is just for that attack. If it shredded hardness, it would not only be 3 modes.
It was more of a curiosity because I'm debating if I need to do a decisive thing because I think
Because I'm being fair, it has a hardness of 10.
okay, thank you. All right, sorry, I was going to do something.
I don't
about
really
Milan,
like
but-
hardness as a mechanic.
No,
It
that's
is too
totally fair.
obfuscated.
Okay, in that case, Angler. Okay, so let's just break down what happened to Angler here in the past 6 seconds. Angler walked in to punch the ghost, and then turned around and saw a door go flying past him to hit the ghost, and then Yang went flying past him to hit the ghost, and then an Obsidian went flying past him to hit a ghost. So at this point, it's just, what the hell are you all? Like, fine, I'll do it. And Angler's going to jump over Yang and use Yang as a or not as a stepping stone, but more of a jump-off point, and intentionally push Yang back a little bit and take his spot, and then use that to flip up in the air and come down on the top of this ghost, because I'm trying to push Yang away because I know Yang can take a hit, as well as we can.
All right.
I'll allow it.
All right.
So I'll put myself here. I don't know where Yang goes flying off to.
Just 1 space back.
Yep.
It's more of a what?
Just kind of a sidestep back.
Okay, and then doing that, as he comes down, rather than it just being his usual thing where he just lands with both feet down, heels directly to the top of the thing's head, it's more of a rapid series of strikes that come down, and as he lands on the last one, a rippling wave of force or air or whatever comes out of this thing as he slams his heel directly into where he thinks its throat is. He's going to use
currently
rippling
a
water
sword
strike.
occupying that.
Yeah, well, okay. He's going to push the sword further into this thing's throat then.
Mm-hmm.
And and it'll make the sword vibrate in the process.
Yep. And make the rings make a horrible noise.
Yep. It'll be great. So, rippling water strike. On this one, I can use the same thing, brawl charm as before, but I only have to use 1 less because I'm continuing to use it. So that should hit because this thing's overwhelmed as whatever at this point. 4.
Yeah, no, its defense is 3 or 4 now.
So I had 3 onto the successes of this. Okay, rippling water strike. My withering attack gains +2 overwhelming, and I may use dexterity in place of strength to determine its raw damage. In water aura, the Immaculate adds her dexterity to raw damage in addition to her strength.
Whew.
My strength and dex are both 5, so I'm adding 5 onto the withering damage to this, plus an additional 2, or 3, so it's going to be a 23 minus 10, you said? For its for its soak, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so 13. That would be 9 successes.
All right. That is 9 initiative damage. And it is so deep in the hole that it can no longer see daylight.
He actually holds off just a little bit because he doesn't want to accidentally knock it into the place below, because he knows there's a 3-story drop, and that thing probably can fly and would have a huge advantage.
That is actually quite wise, yes. Milan.
Okay. 2 turns before I die. Okay. People in this world wouldn't have the concept of a defibrillator, right?
Probably not the way you consider
yeah.
it, but
Like, I'm not going to be able to electrocute my lungs back into working.
I mean, channeling your essence to get it working might work, but
Well, I wouldn't have the concept of I should electrocute my lungs to get them to working.
no.
Maybe get RN or something.
Now you do have Air Dragon style. Doc does have a good point. If people could fire electricity from their hands, they would have tried that shit out. Yeah, probably.
Okay, question. Is this a spirit? Or...
This
Like
is
you said-
this is a corrupted elemental,
Okay.
so that counts as a spirit. Yes.
I need to get 6 initiative somehow. And then I can steal its breath.
Why do you need 6 initiative?
It's
Must
again,
have initiative plus 12 to do this decisive move.
a move.
Breath seizing
Let me
technique
double check
requires...
the chart.
Breath seizing technique is that's my plan for next turn.
Because what I'm thinking is it is also at negative 15 initiative. So I'm just thinking of the essence, like the initiative differential.
Yeah. Because it is, I make a decisive attack and... Let's see. Yeah, make a
Okay,
decisive
breath seizing
attack.
technique. Initiative 12, decisive attack. Roll overwhelm dice of unsoakable withering damage. Okay, so it's extra withering damage. Does not gain initiative from this damage roll. If it crashes the enemy, the break is added before. Okay, so it also wouldn't do anything because it is
Yeah.
also super deep in crash. Although it does make it lose motes equal to the number spent. So okay,
Yeah, not
narratively,
actually doing-
I will let you use this on a withering charm to get your breath back.
Yeah, this is Milan trying to steal his... I did buy 2
So-
points of brawl.
So what I will let you do is I will let you do the overwhelming unsoakable withering damage, and if you get let's call it a 3 or a higher on that roll, you get your breath back.
Okay, thinking about this because I'm a range dude, so like I want to just run in there and kick it in the head, but I'm gonna have such a low dice to do it.
Well, does the move
What I was saying is
require
that I
you
could let
to be punching?
Doesn't say, it just says do a decisive attack.
yeah, and error is compatible with thrown weapons.
Yep. Can you let me combine this with lightning bolts? I'm just going to
Yes.
shoot this thing with lightning bolts.
Yes, I will absolutely let you do that right now.
Stepping into the room, time for lightning bolts.
It's always not, there's always room for more lightning.
Doing math. One sec.
Mhm.
Give me my breath back.
Damn.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ!
That's a lot of tens.
Yeah.
Okay, no, this is Milan reigniting his lungs just with the electricity as he turns his entire body into a giant capacitor and
You or
starts.
I don't care what your anima should be, it's iconic now.
Yeah,
You have
this
gone
is-
straight to full anima.
Milan is in the process of blacking out from lack of air and has just become a font of I'm overloading the void that it's sucking it. It's sucking all in.
Alright, roll your lightning damage.
Roll back to lightning. I really should have this bookmarked. Okay. What does overwhelming mean in this case?
Cannot go below this number if
Okay.
it's Soka's. And its Soak is currently 10.
Overwhelming is minimum damage. Dice.
And, is this a yeah, so.
This is the, you said withering.
Yeah. So, what do we, because you also have overflow damage from your initial roll, because that did have double tens.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, I have to roll the double tens.
also it rolling over its defenses, so that would be like
I think
just
11.
roll 5 more dice because the full pool it's overkill
Yeah.
at this point.
Okay, that is 10 successes.
That is no, that is 13 successes because it's
13
withering
successes.
damage. Jesus Christ, y'all!
I go to 19.
You know, it's a good thing that actually I think. You know, in hindsight, it's a better way that this was the first fight and the second one is not the first fight, because I know what to tune on fight 2 now. Holy shit!
I mean, we haven't fought in like 6 months, man.
No, I know. This is why. This is not me complaining. This is me just going, holy God!
So what does our low pressure system here do while flailing, gargling?
At negative 28 initiative. What can it do? I'm just looking at its sheet and I am actively going, is there literally any circumstance or set of dice or anything it can do at negative 30 initiative to do anything that would matter? And I think the answer is no.
5 dragons are just kind of curb stomping him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna rule it as that there is no interesting fight left after this. You have all beaten your death counters. You have figured out a way of each individually figuring the puzzle out. You did that faster than I expected. Good job on all of you.
Like, yeah, the next
Milan
turn.
could just turn that into a kill shot.
It's time for Milan to do the Shungoku Satsu.
You could describe how this is the kill shot on the elemental.
Milan does the Raging Demon. No, you are dead.
Turns around and the character for Parliament appears on your back.
Just literally just shows up behind him, fucking taking a chakram in your hand, uppercutting it hard enough to knock the head up and out and sever it by the sword as the chakram is slicing it off, and then just fucking beating the crap out of it with the chakrams in your hand as bladed extensions of your fists, like a goddamn, just like boxing sack. I don't know the terms of these things.
Beanbag.
Beanbag,
Punching
yeah.
bag. Speedbag,
Just
yeah.
like punching bag, beanbag, boom, across the room as the bodies just starts disintegrating.
Can it be hit at Yang?
You sure go ahead.
Yang, it's you.
Oh. Wait, is it my turn?
The severed head of the dying elemental is on the way over to you. What would you do with it?
So, I want to flash back to another scene where I was grilling Milan for facts about bureaucracy and shit. Just like, hey, what do you know if you just don't know someone's name? Is there like a default that you guys use on the forums? And, the information I received was, yeah, we just use this generic name. It's just like, sorry, we don't know. I'm going to name him Default.
You're naming it John Doe! You are naming it the creation equivalent of John Doe.
Yeah, whatever that is. So just putting that on a crossbow and it's going to shoot him.
Blam!
Actually, I have a charm for this. I think it's like landslide missile. I'm gonna shoot him into the floor, which moves someone a range band. So I guess I just do it as a decisive attack.
I'm gonna say you don't need to use the charm because narratively it is dead. This is just style points, and you're gonna want to save your modes.
All right, fair enough.
But just you write the name on the crossbow of like I remember doing this with the dust elemental, and bang! Just pull! Clay pigeon goes through the air, plat!
Well, there goes
And thus
John.
it became known as Dan.
Good job, Greg. Bye.
All right, so I figure we like recover a round's worth of motes, and then
Yeah, you get one more dose of 5 motes, and then combat is over.
next time,
the vaults, and
basement.
me being much more aware of how I need to balance a challenging fight. I'm glad this one was the puzzle fight I wanted it to be, and then next time is the fight I intend to have actually kick your ass.
Oh, right. Darren, how many motes do I have to set aside for my armor?
Four.
Yeah.
Okay. I realized I had been at entirely too many motes.
It's all good.
Next time.
Next time, a new way of doing a fight.